night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke. Your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you, so there for
The whole system is designed to disconnect you from your intuition. Why? Disconnected people are easy to manipulate. Everything from sunscreen to politics to the food industry. It's all designed to disconnect and manipulate you. We are in the middle of a war right now, but it's not a traditional war. It's a war on consciousness. It's a war on freedom. This is the time to listen, not to the news. No, your intuition, your gut, your heart. Love is the greatest weapon against darkness. How do you love more? You begin by loving yourself. How do you love yourself? You listen to the messages your body is telling you.
Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. Be your own hero. There's an African legend that says, in a race between a lion and a deer, many times the deer wins. Because the lion runs for food, but the deer runs for life. The moral of the story is this: purpose is more powerful than need. When your why is as strong as your need to breathe, nothing can outrun your will.
Slaves used to work all day, every day, with no pay. But they got free food, water, and shelter. Today, we work all day, nearly every day, and we get paid. But the money we make, we spend on food, water, and shelter. We're still slaves. The only thing that has changed is the illusion of freedom.
I just know we found something so loud of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground when you say you left.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
I am struggling extremely with mental health issues, and I am trying to do that whilst being FTFE. And unfortunately, talking to flat earthers is quite painful.
Riverside, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me.
Law. Nowhere in nature or in a controlled environment can we ever produce a volume outside of containment.
What's that?
Gas been seen or
what's that, brother?
Esta es una historia triste la que le voy a contar. Una historia triste la que le voy a contar. No tiene doble sentido, no va.
Chicken, banana, chicken, banana, chicken, banana, banana, banana.
I remember when I lost my mind.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Good to see everybody here. Already 66 people in here, and we've got a good number over on, we got Cherokee for Jacks over on the Rumble side in the chat. Got a bunch of people watching, but only one person participating. I thought I saw Roger pop up and leave real quick. We got Roger Ledwell up here. Is that the, I'm trying to figure out those planes. Those are two racing planes right there.
Yeah. I think one of them's a Mustang and the other one's something else. I can't remember.
That's not a Mustang. It's
not.
It's an adaptation of it. Yeah, you see the air scoops up way too far in the front.
Okay.
It's almost like a cross between a P-40 Warhawk and a P-51. It's hard to see.
I've looked up what they were. I just forgot. I heard it looks like a Mustang from somebody, and it stuck with me. Okay.
That's if those two planes are competing, then that's a inline piston engine going against a radial engine.
Yeah, and that's not.
They use mostly radial engines in the Pacific.
Huh.
They're easier to cool. The Mustang, the D model, ran straight glycol for a cooling system.
Wow!
Because of the high altitude that it flew at. Mm-hmm. It would no time for the water in a cooling system would boil over, see. Yeah. So they had to run straight glycol through it. Change the medium in the medium, you see.
A medium in a medium. Well, you had containment though. Yeah.
Oh, you have to. There's no way around that. Look at all these people. We got Truth is the Way. We got Slick Rick is here. Speaking of Ricks, I'm going to be on Revolution Radio tomorrow at 6 to 8 p.m. with Crypt Rick. Let's see, we've got Fuzzy Booger here tonight with us. Lowry is here. J.R. Hartley, Nate X, the original X. We got Mojo Shops with us here tonight. Shannon Emerson, good to see you. Who else we got here? Deacanator. You changed your little name or something.
He did. He put it all together, I think. Yeah.
Okay, well that works too. And then we got, let's see who else we got. Truth is the Way. We did that. Edwin Johnson, Cylon Killa is here. Edwin Bean. Edwin Bean likes the dancing. He likes the fart girl. I know that for a fact. We've got let's see, I think I'm pretty much David Koresh. Let's see. And everybody's just kind of repeating themselves in here. Mr. Murphy, Mr. Austin Murphy. Austin Murphy.
No, did you get Mojo? He's in there.
Yeah, I got Mojo, Mr. Mojo rising in here too. Yeah, we got a bunch of people. Boy, this place is just off the chain, as they like. That's what the cool kids say.
Yeah. Don't forget, we got a songbird in there, Miss Heron. She's out there.
Heron's in here. We got Valley Parks. I see popping by. Yeah. Man, we got all kinds of crazy shit going on. Man, the demons are going crazy, man. We got fucking taco tits up there in the White House Because now we got our Navy engaged in fucking piracy.
Oh God.
We are
Yeah.
boarding Venezuelan oil tankers and stealing the fucking cargo.
That's insane, man. For a free country like ours that's more than capable to take care of itself is going to go exploit everybody else. It just doesn't seem right, does it?
Well, first, we're not a free country. And second,
Oh, yeah.
somebody, I think they got the wrong meaning of free. That don't mean that you get to take everybody else's shit for free.
Yeah, that's the wrong definition.
I mean, they're really fucking up. That's piracy. Here, I see that the, well, here, this sums it up pretty good right here.
Now, the first stream article I clicked on it, it just clicked off as soon as I clicked on it.
Huh.
I don't know how that happened. No idea.
Demons.
The news is broken today that President Trump has ordered the seizure of an oil tanker, not a drug running boat, but an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela that has been seized by the United States Coast Guard. Tensions are escalating, and the Senate is asleep on this matter. I want to just ask this question. Why is this war different than all other wars? Why is this war different than all other wars? There are two significant differences that our colleagues need to grapple with. The first is the numerous warnings and indications from this floor, but also from the United States military leadership and our allies that the war is illegal. The chief legal advisor of Southern Command in August offered opinions before the boat strike started in September that to do so without congressional authorization was illegal. The head of Southern Command, Admiral Halsey, a decorated 30-plus year veteran of the Navy, an admiral who was 1 year into a 3-year tenure as the leader of Southern Command, was forced to retire prematurely, and the reporting is consistent that he was forced to retire because he raised questions about the legality of these strikes. This is not just Democrats on the floor of the Senate questioning the legality of this military operation.
That ain't the first time that kind of shit's been done either. When Roosevelt went and moved our fleet to Pearl Harbor from San Diego, it was at the protest of the admiral who said that you're going to leave the coast of the United States vulnerable. We're out there vulnerable by 360 degrees. So they fired his ass and got rid of him, got a new guy. I mean, it's been going on forever. They just do this fucking power structure we have. When you shake your head loose of the goddamn propaganda and bullshit that they teach you, this civics and everything, it's a criminal fucking organization, every last bit of it. Now we're pirates. Well, we've always been pirates. What the fuck?
It's U.S. military leadership, including high-ranking Pentagon officials, who are jeopardizing their career to stand in support of their oath and defend the Constitution and being relieved of command as a result. Our primary ally in the world, the United Kingdom, has stopped sharing intelligence with the United States on activities in the region because they do not want their intelligence to be used to carry out illegal strikes. The aftermath of the slaughter of survivors clinging to a shipwreck in international waters has occasioned huge concerns in this country. I represent one of the most military states in the nation, and many Virginians are deployed on the carrier strike group in the Caribbean, and their families are asking us about the legality of the mission, how long it will last, what is it designed to accomplish, and they are also asking about why the U.S., with a human rights ethos, would be proudly slaughtering survivors on the open seas. The president has said that video could be available to all. Indeed, the president has made the video of the strike available on his social media account, bragging about it, patting himself on the back about it. But now that we're asking for the full video, not just the first strike, but the second strike as well, where survivors were slaughtered, suddenly the Secretary of Defense is walking it back and saying, we need to protect our sources and methods. You need to protect your sources and methods when you've been turning it into a TV commercial, a social media commercial, showing the world about what a tough guy you are. If you're a tough guy and you think you're proud of this, then let the American people see the entire video. Let them watch struggling survivors struck on the high seas in contravention of American and international laws of war. That's the first reason this war is different from all other wars. The questions raised about their legality are a drumbeat that will not be denied or suppressed. And the second reason, and then I'll hand to my other colleagues, that this war is different than all other wars, is with all of that I've shared with you, and so much more that I'd like to share with you that I can't, because what I know from being in a classified setting. Get this, in the Senate of the United States, the greatest deliberative body in the world, 95 days into a war, has the Senate Armed Services Committee held a single public hearing about this war? Has the Senate Foreign Relations Committee held a single public hearing about this war? This war is different than all others because at 95 days and counting, 90 people killed, dozens of military strikes, seizing an oil tanker just a few hours ago. The principal committees in this body and in the House, charged constitutionally with oversight over matters of war, have been hiding their heads in the sand, afraid to put on the table publicly before the American public what's at stake and the legal rationale. If you're doing something you're proud of, you wouldn't need to hide it. If you're doing something you're proud of, you would be glad to have committee hearings and share the story with the American public. The refusal of this body to take this matter up in any meaningful public forum and to shackle members of the Senate who know a lot, but we cannot discuss it because all we know from classified settings, is a demonstration that this administration knows that public scrutiny would make the American public ashamed of what's going on. We need to make this public. We need to have this debate. And we need the American public to understand what's at stake. And with that,
I didn't know we were at war with Venezuela till now.
Really?
Yeah, nobody told me we declared war on them at all.
Oh, we don't declare war. We haven't declared war since 1941.
Oh,
they've declared war on ideals. They have a war on terror, which the definition can change at any given time, depending on whoever's in charge. You can have a war on drugs. And because of these, which is really a war on people. So they just keep changing. Now they've got the newest one, narco-terrorism. So apparently, I guess that means these people are sneaking over into the United States and forcibly injecting people with drugs and killing them. I haven't heard of any of that going on. So how are they narco-terrorists? A simple law of supply and demand, right?
Yeah. Well, people are going to use drugs for their pain and to medicate themselves, regardless.
Or just to get fucking high. Whose business is it what they use it for? Nobody's but theirs. That's all. You know, I don't recommend it. I don't think it's a good idea, but you know, you do you. You know, if you're not creating a victim, then what the fuck?
No crime. Yeah.
Right. It seems to me that that's a consensual transaction between someone who has something that someone else wants and someone who wants the something that the other guy has. It's called free market, man.
Yeah, we've had one for a while, haven't we?
Well, they tell us that, but you really don't, because Uncle Sam will shut you down if they're not getting their cut.
Yeah, you got to pay a piper.
Yeah, you try opening up a numbers racket in Dutch Schultz's neighborhood and see what happens, right? You're going to end up working for Dutch Schultz or you're going to get shut down, one of the two. It's the same thing, same damn thing. But now the ICC wants to arrest Trump.
For what?
Well, war crimes.
There's a lot. Yeah.
War crimes, illegally bombing other countries. God damn, there's a host of shit. This guy's been nothing but a bag. I don't know who thought that. I was sitting there laughing my ass about that. People say, oh, he's a good businessman. That's why he'd make a good president. He filed bankruptcy like 6 fucking times, dude.
Yeah, I know. Didn't he owe more than he actually owns? I mean, money wise, he owes more than he has.
He's completely upside down on all of that shit. That's why he's owned. That's one of the reasons he's owned. BB just tells him, you do what I tell you, or I'm going to release the tape of you with those kids, man.
He's going to pull the slip, you know. The whole dossier.
This shit. He's losing his shit. He's having a hard time formulating sentences even. He's misspeaking and shit. And I think he's getting his treatments for early onset dementia. And
kind of like Biden in a way, almost, isn't it? Yeah.
He is. You know, I wonder if they don't do that to him once they're in there. Like, you know, because they have a special cook where they get their food. No outside food is actually supposed to be brought into the White House. That's like one of the rules.
You mean they don't order the pizza for the president? You know what I'm talking about?
No. That's all going to the Pentagon. That's what the pizza alert. In fact, we haven't checked the pizza index. We should check the pizza index. Let's check it real quick.
Don't forget to check the Blue Oyster too while you're at it.
Oh yeah, the little oyster bar. Let's see.
Yeah.
PICCA. It's a good thing they got a search thing in your bookmarks because I'd never find shit.
I say tabs. That's what I do.
Okay, so Papa John's Pizza is 227% spike today. Okay, hang on a second. Those of you that don't know, okay, this is the Pentagon Pizza Index. And what this has done, the Russians learned this a long time ago, that when shit was brewing, that there was these pizza joints that are near the Pentagon, okay? And when there was upcoming military operations or some other kind of thing going on, they noticed a high amount of pizza deliveries going to the Pentagon, okay? And so here tonight at 227% increase in trade, the Papa John's Pizza in the Pentagon area, it's 2.3 miles away, is delivering pizzas like mad over to the Pentagon. Now, does this have anything to do with the, let's see what they say. So you go back up here and it says it's much busier than usual. What could it be an indication of? Well, right here, it's critical here. China and Taiwan and the U.S. Venezuela thing, Russia, Ukraine, that's been a deal. But this one right here is critical. The one with USA Venezuela, probably because they're trying to figure out how they're going to spin it that they're not fucking pirates when they steal tankers full of fucking oil.
Well, maybe they thought they had drugs in there. So I'm thinking they had.
Sure they do. And then at the gay bars, they also monitored the gay bars.
They're probably busier than usual.
Let's see. Where's the gay bar index? Hold on. You can zoom out on the map and see a little better what you got going on.
Those are just bars now. They're all gay.
Yeah.
Oh, where are they? Where's the gay bars?
Oh, they took it off the map, man. Yeah. That's
Took it off the map. Too many homos.
Yeah.
Back in the closet.
Yeah.
Wait a second here. I guess D-Man get a kick out of that fucking shit about the gay bars. But,
don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
But that's
I never have asked.
So there's activity at the Pentagon at this hour, and this is indicated by the high amounts of pizzas going there. And it's Thursday too, so it's not like Friday pizza day or some shit like that. And look at the time; it's 8:30 in the evening.
Yeah, they should be closed by now.
Yeah. So this means these people didn't even have time to go to the local mess hall. They're just having their shit brought to them.
I'm seeing them dropping one by one here, just boom, boom, boom.
Well, I don't think those are real-time deliveries. They're cheap synced, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's just for visual sake. Yeah.
Anyway, that is the pizza index, and it does appear that there is shit going on as with Venezuela and the acts of piracy that the United States is engaged in. What do you say tonight, Chad? How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Just getting a little more snow here, but I heard pizza war and gay bars, and I thought I'd stop by.
Well, yeah.
That's your forte, isn't
war.
it?
There's a war at the gay bar, I heard. There's Tony. Tony made it here tonight.
Me and D-Man kind of laid down a pressure gradient, like with the dome, and kind of just it made sense.
So how'd you do that?
We were just going gases and layers, how high they are, and how planes fly, and like I was like in the middle, like the higher the go, the lighter the gases, the less the lift you would get out of it. And we were comparing the SR-71, and somebody was talking about it a while back. One of the guys that came on Flashes was telling everybody that it was fueled by rocket power. I'm like, no, you're nuts. The SR-71 doesn't have a rocket on it. I forgot who the guy was. He was one of the guys that Flats brought on. He took a physics course, and he was a Globie, and he was just being nice and cordial to him. So, and we're talking about that, and then I just thought about it. The higher you get, the lighter the gases are, the harder it would be to get lift underneath your wing. So we were just breaking it down layer by layer.
Yep. That's why an airplane has a ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they call a ceiling. Helicopter does too. To get up too high, that's what they were having trouble in Afghanistan, was that they're trying to get over some of those mountain ranges. Man, it was above critical ceiling height for the rotors. They'd have to try to do passes and shit.
Flight is a wonderful pursuit. It is.
I found a new travel destination to go to.
Where's that?
You ever heard of the Yerkes Observatory in Williams Bay, Wisconsin?
No.
Oh man, you guys! They have the biggest. Check this out. They have the biggest refractive telescope in the United States.
Oh wow!
I know, right? You want? Here, I'll send you a link. But yeah, it's about 2.5 hours away. I don't know if I'm going to go in the summertime or if I'm going to go soon, but they've stolen an old world building, mind you, one that supposedly used to be an old school building. And then they dropped this telescope inside it for science. It's one that can see past the moon.
Look at Lowry, ain't got no glasses on. He looks
I broke them. I broke my glasses, so I can barely see the screen. But
did you break them in a fit of rage?
Oh no, I took my scarf. I was in Detroit, near your old hometown, Pontiac, with Nicole, and took my scarf off. I was getting out of the car, and my glasses flew out into the parking lot and broke in half.
Oh shit!
So I'm going to be blind for, I'm not really that blind. I can drive and farsighted, but you know what I was thinking? You got me thinking about the Roger, the basically the gasket slider as you get higher.
Yeah.
There was an old, there was a documentary that I really was fascinated by, because I think they gave up a lot of nuggets in it without actually giving it up. And it was called The Fog of War. And I don't know, did you guys see The Fog of War with Robert McNamara before he died? It was like his last thing, before for him to tell the story about World War II. And he basically said, one of the biggest problems we had in World War II was we called it getting over the hump. So the hump was the Himalayas, because they were trying to get air bases over there. That's when you heard all those stories about like Chinamen getting rolled over by giant cement things trying to make landing strips, for at least the United States to get up and over into those lands. They have airstrips because they just couldn't get over those mountains, and they had to go around them. They were having lift problems, and that was the problem getting supplies that far east, was going up and over. They called it the hump. And I found that very interesting that, Roger, you brought that up, because those planes to get that lift, to generate that lift, have to travel at such high rates of speed. And they would talk about the SR-71 Blackbird, that the paint would melt off of it because they had to go so fast to get the lift because the air was so thin.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go back and you listen to these stories, and he also said something else McNamara said, he was talking about, nukes and like the Cold War and all this stuff, right? And we have various feelings about nuclear weapons now, whether they are real or not anyway. But he said, what the hell would we do that for to us? Why would we bring the castle? Why would we bring the palace down on our heads? And I thought it was a curious use of language in that first of all, he's maybe lying about nuclear weapons to begin with, but B, bringing the palace down on our head, which would implicate munitions being used at the upper end of the spectrum. And anyway, if you guys haven't seen the Fog of War, it's a really good look. And don't believe any of the propaganda that's in it because they're all liars in it. But they do give up hints. And it's got a great soundtrack. There's a pianist. I can't remember what his name is. But check it out. That's all I got on that.
It wouldn't be a great movie without a great soundtrack, Lowry, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pick through the propaganda because it's all storytelling and it's all bullshit. But they do give you hints. In the way they talk about it, because I mean, when they talk about getting over the hump, we're talking, almost, jumbo. What's 31,000 feet is Everest, right? So that's getting above. That's about where a passenger jet flies these days, like 7 miles up. But they weren't necessarily operating. They were operating prop planes, a lot during World War II, right?
Look at here. Rockets fly in space, and propulsion does as well.
Yeah, that's always a fun one.
Did you know that if you walk through your closet, you'll come into a land where there's a lion that talks like Jesus and stuff too?
Yeah.
Don't forget Mr. Tumnus is there in a lamppost and a few other things, and there's talking animals, all of them.
Yeah,
crazy place, dude. It's nuts.
They had, and it was always funny to me too. Like one of my favorite memes that comes up on some of my feeds is when they put the shuttle next to the SR-71, and if you just spend some time, just take sit down and have a Coke, and just look at it, and ask yourself what is it supposed to be traveling at 17,000 miles per hour, and that thing's a turd. I mean, it's a fucking turd. That thing would melt on itself, at 4, not even as fast as.
Watch the damn thing taking off, and it's not going that fast. You can look at it. You can see that it's not going that fast.
It's like the short bus for airplanes.
And then they got the little speed counter when you're watching it on the TV, and they got the little speed counter there. It says it's doing Mach 5 and shit. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Those wings are so thick. They would generate so much heat at not even Mach 1, probably. That thing would fall apart. It would fall apart. It's ridiculous, man.
Well, D-Man,
you see that little magic strut that they got the fucking shuttle hooked on
right under the nose?
Yeah,
the magic strut?
Yeah, it's like, little 2.5 inch wide piece of L angle or some shit, L channel. And it's like, yeah, right, sure. That's going to set back against that thrust and everything, right? Probably just got regular fucking galvanized screw stuck through it or some shit,
It's just one little post. It's one little post.
Did you see that sad attempt at the porn bomb just a minute ago?
No.
Oh, yeah, he was down at the bottom. Somebody named Eduardo. I've got that figured out. That's Sean Hawkins.
Oh, okay.
Figure.
Cool. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, is he still out there creeping around?
Oh, yeah. He's out there.
Sean, come on. There's got to be something better to do with your time, dude. I mean, like.
Back on the shuttles, guys. Me and D-Man were looking at the Russian shuttle last night. That thing was like almost twice the size of the American shuttle. And it was built like a tank, dude.
You mean that one they found abandoned out in a field somewhere in Russia?
Yeah.
It was like, let's just put it out in the country. Nobody will find it.
Made out of plywood and shit.
They have enough money to destroy it. They're like, let's put it over here. Nobody will find it. Of course they
fucking thing was made out of plywood and all kinds of shit. I'll tell you, this whole idea, this whole thing about these people are really hooked on this idea of going to space and shit. And when you're at the higher altitudes, it's not so much that the gases are lighter, but you've lost some elements. Your pressure is a lot less. It's a less dense. It's less dense. Temperature, dispersal area, and compositional makeup of the mixture. As soon as you start losing some of the elements, of course, the pressure is going to go down.
You lose most of the water vapor in the mixture.
Yeah, you lose that, and you got to realize too that the different gases within the mixture react differently, but in the same manner. They don't do it at a uniform. Their reaction to heat and cold.
Yeah.
Some gases move much faster, and then other gases, and that's another thing you have to contend with too. But here's the remarkable thing that you have to remember: that you can't have a specific volume of gas without full physical containment.
Indeed. I have another thing I want to pass by you guys too. I'm not married to this idea, but I was just talking to Nico about this earlier. There are two different types of, you call them shooting stars, meteorites, whatever you want to call them, whatever the phenomenon is in the sky. There's two different types that I see. I see one that's clearly at high altitude and far away. Yeah. And it's very clearly not in the region. And there's a second one that I have noticed over the last couple of years that's definitely regional. It's fallen within a mile or two of my viewing area, and it's coming straight down. It turns a green color, sometimes a blue, but it's mostly green. And I'm just spitballing here, but like you've heard about the sky ice, right? You've heard about people have found chunks of sky ice, and it's it's some different version of water or whatever. And I thought that might be a good deep dive for some people to look at. It's like if a piece of that falls off, call it the firmament, call it whatever we're calling it, it's fine for a long ways down, but as it gets into denser gases, it starts to react with those denser gases, and then it's just like a piece of the ceiling falling down, right? And we've seen them down the coast here, and we saw one that looked like it was only like 2 miles away. You could see it; it was off the water, and you could see it reflect off the water. It looked almost like somebody had shot a firecracker, from up there and dropped down. And I've seen these. I saw them in Germany. Saw one in Pittsburgh. Saw one down here. Those are the three that I can remember. They all had the same green color, and that might be a good deep dive for, people to look at.
It's probably the Anunnaki Jew lizards from the
Could be. Definitely could be the Anunnaki Jew lizards. That's definitely.
Are they straight to the dome with their ships and stuff and shooting pieces off?
I don't know. Like, there's all these fireball videos that are coming across the feeds too. It's like that could also be like a rail gun. It could be like.
Well, the 3-Eye Atlas, I guess, is supposed to be here on the 19th, right?
Hasn't that ship sailed already? Are we still talking about that thing?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
They add more to it. They do. They add more to the story, dude. They got to. Now there's like 3 or 4 orbs floating around it, and one's like breaking off from it.
Has it gone in reverse yet? Is it fully in reverse now? Like maybe it'll go in reverse for a while. Now it's in reverse, and we will be talking about this until February because talking points.
Well, they did the same thing with the drama with the space shuttle. Remember when the tile came off? Newscast everywhere. Are they going to make it through without burning up?
Oh yeah, that was a doozy.
Tiles fell off the shuttle. They're all going to die. We'll see if it holds up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's an interesting theory, David Koresh. So there's a theory that the Earth is an organism. I believe that. I mean, I think that we're all components of this organism too.
Mm-hmm.
Everything on it is a component to it.
We're
like
in God's
a self-cleaning cell wall. When they shoot shit at the firmament, it comes back eventually as comets. Huh.
It's interesting. I mean, the ones that I'm talking about are literally within miles of me. What I see, it looks like it almost could have been. It could have been like, 1 mile this way, or even like not even a mile. It looks like somebody dropped a Roman candle out of the sky.
Isn't the Geminid supposed to be like tonight or something? Isn't it?
I don't remember.
Geminid.
But I see two different types. There are ones that they're up there. They're part of the display system or whatever you want to call it. And this other ones look like junk falling from the sky. That's what it looks like. It looks like junk that reacts to thicker atmosphere as it gets lower, and then it burns up because I think it just gets into such thick atmosphere that it's just reacted all of its shell or whatever the hell it is, or it's fucking Jew lizards. I don't know.
I tend to go with Jew lizards. So,
I've seen the first one that you talk about, but I've never seen anything like the second one that you.
There's people postulate that meteor showers are basically the same idea. It's basically the same.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I haven't seen anything closer like you were speaking of. But that's just me.
There used to be, I don't know if the channel's still up on YouTube. It was I don't know if it's called the Electrical Universe. The guys were really spot on everything except for they were all still globies. But that everything could be described electrically in what we see in the sky and around us, and really spot on. I really should actually get the name of that so I'm not misnaming the channel. But they essentially it's electrical. We're living in an electrical system. If that's what you want to call it. If you give it a definition, it's electrical. And it behaves like an electrical system. And whatever the things we see up there is, part of that. Electromagnetic, the unknowable sky, as it were. You know,
Well, any physicist with that theory of any kind like that, they usually get put out because they don't follow in the narrative. You know, you got to stick to that gas ball in the sky. There's some
they
physicists
don't get
that
their
actually
tchotchkes. They don't get their end of your bonus, you know, because you're talking about stuff that you're not supposed to talk about. You know, I just want to understand, it's like the ether should have a full-on comeback by now, because like we've been looking at the ether now, it's the only thing that makes sense. And every single physicist that I see come on some of these programs, they just don't want to touch it. They don't want to touch it. I'm like, why don't you touch it? If everything that would actually work out for you if you just touched it, and then you know you might get all the tchotchkes by like getting it all right. You know, but they just won't touch ether. Just won't touch
Miller did. Miller subscribed to the ether. One of the mainstream physicists back in the day, and a lot of them did.
Yeah.
Even I'm pretty sure Nikolai actually did the same.
Mhm.
A lot of the old time physicists actually pushed ether a lot, but they replaced it with the bending and warping of what you call it, the fabric of space time.
Hijack the ether. Yeah.
That's a dumbass theory, though. It really is.
Turn it into curvature.
You've been something that's only
That's what they did.
conceptual.
And it's so simple to see. You know, but like if you haven't like just looked at it and looked at the mysticism of what they did, it well actually is mystifying for the average person to actually try to think about it and understand it. But it's not really that big of a deal. It's not that hard to understand if you just take all the zeros out of it and all the dark magic out of it, and then you apply it to things. It might, you might actually get your solution if you just use the old way, the way that it worked before. And nobody wants to touch it.
No, that's science.
Science.
Blinded
Well,
by that.
if you go at the speed of light through space time, you will actually stretch your physicality.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, when in doubt, and it shortens the measurement of how you measure it too. So they go, just see if you go that faster, it shortens the measuring tool. You know how fucking retarded that is?
Yeah.
That is so retarded. And like everyone's like mystified. They're like, oh, time travel. It shortens it, because everything slows down. Fuck you. No, it doesn't.
Well, everything they teach is everything that they believe is mind twisted fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Level is curved, emptiness bends. What the fuck are you talking about, man? They got such dumb shit, and they think that they're all high minded because they believe that.
True.
And it's a clear case of the emperor's new clothes. You're not high minded. You're fucking crazy.
It's nuts. It's
You might
truly
be
fucking nuts.
high minded, but not, high minded.
Well, you remember in Back to the Future, Doc Brown's dog, what was his name?
Einstein.
Einstein,
There
yeah.
you
Yeah, speaking of that guy, check out that link I put in the chat.
Oh, by the way, also, do you know there's a flat Earth
It's in the
clock
regular
right in the opening scene of Back to the Future? There is a
Yeah.
flat Earth map right there.
And a couple of clocks too to go with it.
Yeah. Fucking amazing. I mean, like, if once you start to see it, you can't unsee it. I almost want somebody to start a channel here. I'm going to give a free idea out there. Somebody start a channel and just call it Globe Locator, and just go through all of the movies and everything, and just find all the globes that are placed in the most unreasonable places that make no sense. It's
Is this the big ass
everywhere.
we're talking about?
Yeah,
It looks like it. Yeah.
it's an observatory, and they got the biggest refracted telescope in the United States, apparently.
Can
To
you
me,
see
it just
your
looks
own
like
ass in it?
to me it just looks like they took the lid off this big old world building and then stuck this hunk of metal in there and then called it a telescope. And it can,
You don't understand the technology, Chad.
I know.
I know. Neither do I.
I don't understand anything.
A star attraction in southeastern
telescope.
Wisconsin is coming back. The Yerkes Observatory in Williams
Is
Bay
it volume,
closed
or
in
is that just me?
2018 when the University of Chicago
It's a little
didn't need
choppy.
it anymore. It has new owners now. Local people who want to restore the observatory and give it new purpose. They were kind enough to let us in, and of course we all took precautions, keeping our distance and wearing masks when we couldn't.
And a condom.
Nestled in Williams Bay, Wisconsin on Geneva Lake.
It's a gorgeous, beautiful, iconic structure.
On 48 acres of land.
Everyone who's walked into it just looks at it and says, wow, this is where I need to be.
I see what you're saying. Look at that.
Yeah. It's an old
You
world
know?
building. They just chopped the top off. You'll see the rest.
They ruined it. That's what they did. Yeah.
And says, wow, this is where I need to be.
Sits a piece of history.
In a nutshell, it is the birthplace of modern astrophysics in the United States.
Inside this striking observatory, the star of the show.
The telescope is the largest refracting telescope in the world. It's a 40-inch refractor.
A refracting telescope, unlike a reflecting telescope, uses a converging lens to collect light.
It was originally at the Chicago Exposition back in 1893.
Did you hear that? A converging, right? And those lenses are convexed. Okay, so consequently, when you look at things of light in the night sky with them, guess what shape they're going to appear to be?
I'm gonna guess rounded and
yeah, kind of like how a funhouse mirror works.
Yeah.
They also saved this from the World's Fair, mind you.
Oh yeah, I heard.
A lot of
And was
history.
moved up here by Ellery Hale, who had convinced Charles Yerkes to build an observatory to house this telescope. So the concept of this entire place started
rest of
with
the building was already
You
there.
only see they only have construction of the dome part.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also-
they don't show
also-
any pictures building the base to it or anything else.
I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there and ask them if they got the blueprints to the place. Like, I'm
There
just
you go.
curious. Since you guys
Oh, hell yeah.
got all this history here, do you got the blueprints to how this place was built? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, and also listen to the. Because I'm a musician, I'm always hearing this stuff. Listen to the really amazing music. So they pitch the religion really well, and it's very like you want to aspire to look up into the stars and be inspired to look up the stars, and it's bullshit.
Hypnotic shit. Yeah, hypnotic shit.
You just said science is a religion. I think you're absolutely right, but they'll tell you the exact opposite, man.
It is a religion to know. It's a religion. It is not the scientific method. Not the scientific method. This sort of pseudoscience, this astrophysics bullshit. That's a cherry on top of all the rest of the knowledge is valid. And listen to that music, man. They drive that music like you want to be an astronomer because you want to reach for the stars. That's all.
Yeah, but see, that's all you can do is reach for that. That's all you can do. Outside of observation, that's about all you can do. You can look at them and then, make up stories about what the fuck is going on.
It's a reach, all right. Yeah.
That's it.
Scope itself.
Diana Coleman is chair of the Yerkes Future Foundation, and on this day, our tour guide.
And very noisy. So watch your step right here. This is the Great Refractor.
This is incredible.
It is incredible.
Oh, God.
This is the centerpiece of what the observatory is all about. And
It's
when
not
this
even a
is
working
really
telescope.
looking great,
Because it's not real.
It looks like a piece of crap.
It's just a hunk of metal.
So how does this work?
Because it's really big.
the floor moves up
Wow.
and meets the eyepiece of the telescope at that end.
This is what Einstein came here to see.
Yes, it's
Ooh.
exactly what Einstein came to see.
That's incredible. So he would have been standing here right where we are.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Wow.
He wanted to be in the United States and see just three things: New York City, the Grand Canyon, and Yerkes Observatory.
Oh,
And
what
his
about
second
those
cousin.
Chicago owned the Yerkes Observatory
They just
for more than
photoshopped
100 years
Einstein in
before
that
this.
picture,
He
basically.
wanted to see his cousin's naked butt. I know that.
Well, didn't he call his own daughters his own harem? I mean, come on.
Yeah, they were his stepdaughters.
Oh, that's even worse.
So the reporter drools over Einstein stood right here.
Yeah.
She just
Oh,
drools
Using
over
the
it.
Exact
and
same spot.
inspiring music, drooling over where Einstein stood. Fuck
Some
this
fucker
bullshit.
wore women's shoes, man.
Motherfucker wore blouses too.
And supposedly the University of Chicago owned this place before, and they had so little use for it, they just got rid of it, didn't need it anymore. Of this beautiful, magnificent old world building that is now an observatory.
Hmm.
deciding
What a waste.
they didn't have a use for it anymore. In March 2018, they made
Look
the
at all
tough
that
decision to
architecture.
close. That didn't sit well with Coleman, a Williams Bay resident, who will tell you she's not an astronomer, but has been visiting for the last 40 years.
What does it mean to the community? The community of Williams Bay really thinks it's theirs because it's been here for so long that they feel it's just part of their fabric of their life and their culture.
Oh my God.
A lot of young people have gotten engaged here. They've gotten married here. They've taken graduation pictures here. You'll see dogs walking through the property all the time with their owners. And they just feel it's part of the fabric. It is actually the symbol on the seal of Williams Bay. So it's their symbol. It's who they are.
Born out of love for the landmark, a group of volunteers, the Yerkes Future Foundation, took over the property. The university gave it to them for free.
I imagine it will be expensive to keep this up.
It will. And we are trying very hard to be practical, but forward thinking. So we know that we have to raise probably $20 million.
So are they using the telescope?
Get the refurbishment
It's
done
not usable.
to make
No,
sure
it's
that
not
everything
even
is put in
So
place.
it's
And how much money
it's a
have you raised so
carnival.
far?
It's a carnival act.
It's a prop. Yeah, it's a hunk of metal. And because it's so big, it just impresses people with the size of it, you know. Sell the rest of it with a story, but it's so big, you know. It's like, oh wow, look at this thing, and here's the story behind it.
Look at that little eyepiece hanging there. It's like 20 feet off the ground. I wonder if you walk in there like, can I look through that? No, we don't. We
No,
can't
there's a
look through
cap over it.
No, we can't. We can't look through it. It's too beautiful. We don't want to mess. What's the point?
Right.
You got to wear your mask.
You can't really see anything through a refracted lens anyway. So
besides the point, yeah.
Probably just about $3.5 million. And so we really have only started doing the fundraising about 2 months ago. This is one of the things that everybody and his brother wants to get a hold of. I'm going to turn on a light.
In a temperature-controlled room, about 40,000 glass plates.
But these glass plates date back to the 1890s and then forward. So you could pull one out and you could see a galaxy or a star cluster.
Oh, you mean like a projector?
Saturn or Orion or whatever it is that you're looking at. And then take a shot now and see how it's changed or moved. Or
Look at those sailor's wheels.
So this is a really...
You could if the thing fucking worked, so you can't really.
No.
Well, maybe they should fix the thing. If she wants to do a fundraiser, make a working telescope. Take the refracted lens off of it, get a modern lens, and actually get to work and go look at the stars. But
No, they have weddings to do.
Yeah, that's basically what it is a glorified wedding and concert hall.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what it is.
Nostalgic. Under the sea dance here. Here we go.
Because it's like, who gives a fuck? You know?
Yeah.
Really important room.
Very important room. Very important room.
Coleman would love to see Yerkes open next spring for tours and other
Poor Craig could blow a nut in there.
Oh,
events.
What's your hope, maybe in the next year or in the next few months?
So 5 years out, I would love to see this as a vibrant research facility with new telescopes, with people who are interested in being here for night sky adventures, for educational programming. I would love to see seminar speakers here.
Hold on.
There are
5 years
a
down the
number
road.
of colleges in the Midwest.
5 years. Does that smell like kicking the can down the road just a little bit? 5 years down the road, and she'll say that same thing 5 years from now. 5 years down the road, we'd like this to be a place where everyone can look at the stars, and it's just always 5 years down the road.
Mm-hmm. Like the moon, going to go to the moon. We've been George Bush said they would send people to the moon during his administration. That was a long time ago now. You know,
Didn't Artemis supposed to go in 2024 and they put that off again?
Yep, they had to because
But the future, it's the future, guys. The future.
They know we're on to them too.
A real interest in trying to come here and bring their students. So that to me would be just amazing. and
And
fun.
lure kids in there.
So it's not going to be a dusty museum. We don't want to do that. But we certainly do want to make sure that it works for everyone who loves it as much as we do.
We put my entire report from your
We call this one the Stubby Penis Building.
observatory on our website, the upfront section of
Okay.
Nonetheless, I think it'd be worth the trip. $20 to go on the little tour just to see that story that they're trying to spit out. And
good idea.
maybe if there's any questions in the end, I might have a few.
It also works into that, you know, the narrative that, you know, in aggregate, the old world narrative is that they just like to take over these old buildings that obviously weren't built by us, or at least our generations of us, and make official buildings out of them, whether it's a post office or an observatory or it's a government building or it's a library or it's a art museum or it's Congress or it's the White House or it's maybe not the White House, but like the Capitol building. They just assume these buildings and make them important. And it's so important, we just have to preserve it because it's so important. And then everyone's like, ugh, and then they're drooling out of their mouth and like stars and Narnia.
So we'd rather fix that up than like fix the fentanyl epidemic on our streets and stuff. That's a more worthy cause right there.
It's an amusement park. It brings in money.
Yeah.
But the music, guys, the music. It's so inspiring.
It was.
If space is fake, why do we see other planets through telescopes? Sounds like checkmate, right? But hold on, let's actually think about this for a second. What are we really seeing when we look through a telescope? Are we seeing solid physical worlds millions of miles away? Or are we seeing something completely different? Something closer? Something we've been told to interpret in a very specific way? Since childhood, we've been programmed by NASA. So when we finally look into a telescope and see a glowing, shimmering ball of light, our brain instantly says, yep, that's a planet, just like the pictures. But is it really? Because if you've ever actually looked at these so-called planets through an amateur telescope, they don't look anything like the polished NASA images. They flicker, they ripple, they dance with color.
Hang on a second.
You get a little echo there.
That might be your echo cancellation or vice versa, one of the two.
I know what it is.
So,
almost
Or
like
in
lights
space.
in the water. That alone should make you pause. What if planets aren't what we've been taught? What if they...
How's it now?
It's
It's a little kickback. It's not bothersome or anything, but like if you want to sort it out, you
It
can.
adds to the effect of space, though. So.
It does.
They're not giant rock worlds floating millions of miles away, but luminous bodies moving lights in the sky, part of the same system as our sun and moon. Ancient cultures didn't call them planets, they called them wandering stars. And that's exactly how they look, stars that move differently. Think about it. If the Earth is flat and stationary, then telescopes aren't windows into outer space. They're magnifying glasses bringing closer the lights above us. And when we zoom in, the stars and planets don't appear as solid spheres. They look alive, electric, almost like energy in motion. Some even pulse with geometric patterns. Doesn't that sound more like a light than a distant world? Take Jupiter, for example. Through a small backyard telescope, it doesn't look like the swirling CGI storm planet you've seen in textbooks. It looks more like a glowing orb that shifts and changes with the atmosphere. Saturn? Those famous rings don't appear crisp and sharp unless you're looking at NASA's computer renderings. In real life, it's fuzzy, wavy, sometimes barely there. Doesn't that make you wonder if those rings are really physical at all? Or if we've just been conditioned to believe in a Hollywood version of space? And let's ask the real question. If space is truly endless with billions of galaxies, why do we only ever see the same handful of planets clearly? Why are the rest conveniently unreachable and always shown through artists' impressions or digital renderings? Could it be because what we're actually seeing through telescopes is not outer space at all, but a local contained system, lights moving in a dome-like sky? Now, this doesn't mean telescopes are fake. They work. They magnify what's already above us. But the interpretation that we're seeing faraway globes in a vacuum is the part that deserves questioning. Because when you strip away the NASA animations and the glossy documentaries, what we're left with looks nothing like what we've been told. So here's the takeaway. Telescopes don't prove the globe. If anything, they expose the mystery of the sky. They show us that the planets look more like energetic lights, wandering stars, than distant worlds. And if that's true, then everything we've been taught about space deserves a second look. If you found this eye-opening, don't stop here. There are so many more secrets about the sky, flight paths, and distances that will make you question everything you thought you knew about Earth. So tap follow and watch more videos like this, because once you start seeing with your own eyes, there's no going back.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Well, I think, yeah.
Go ahead, Roger.
I think the reason they want to have those planets so they can sell you on Lord Xenu and the octopus woman that's going to come from an alien planet and you're going to fall in love with her and stuff. You know, the basic romance that go with space. I get another planet we can go terraform and repopulate and start over again. You know.
Here you go.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. They want to keep that narrative running. So space has to be explored, you know, instead of observed.
So I saw something today, and so I'm sure you've covered this. Oh, go ahead. Play that first. Yeah.
Invented by a Dutch optician 4 centuries ago. Before that, it was believed the Earth was the center of everything. The theory that it actually revolved around the sun was discounted. In the hands of Italian astronomer Galileo, the telescope brought reality into focus. This molded disc of thick, low-expansion glass will become the telescope's primary mirror. A diamond-edged tool rotates on a calculated tilt to make the glass slightly concave.
Okay, if you don't know what a concave mirror does, a concave mirror can distort images. It'll make a circle appear to be spherical if used correctly, okay? Telescopes have a combination of convex lenses and concave mirrors that distort the celestial objects that you are seeing in the sky. This distortion caused by the concave mirrors and the convex lenses and the aberrations caused by the light being reassembled in the eye itself makes it to where you can't even see the stars for what they actually are, okay? This is what the stars look like without being distorted by these particular mirrors and lenses. Of course, there are going to be people in the comments saying stars look like this because they're so far away, and you should be asking them, how the hell would you know, okay? If they're so far away and nobody can reach them, they're light years and galaxies away, how would you know, okay? That would then be pseudoscience. That would be you speculating, because that would then be a claim that cannot be tested. But what can be tested are the convex and concave mirrors and lenses that are used inside telescopes and what effect they might have on the object that you are viewing with them. The footage you are looking at now are the celestial bodies being viewed through a device that does not use the same principles as a telescope. It does not have the concave mirrors and convex lenses that would distort the image you're looking at, making a circle appear to be spherical, like this footage here, taken from a high-end, high-powered telescope. That also uses software to translate the image that you're looking at into what you see on the screen. That right there should be a red flag to you, that the image has to go through some level of processing to show you what you want to see. Like I tell you.
Right?
I was going to say that a lot of the great sky watching that's going on right now are just being done with zoom lenses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the P900, P1000, like they're doing so much. Like I'm seeing better images from just these cameras than anything coming out of the observatories.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that are allegedly coming out of the observatories that aren't, you know, affected by Photoshop and whatnot. You know, but you go out and I use binoculars, dude. I don't even own a P900, and I've got a really nice set of binoculars, and I can look through them, and I'm seeing this stuff. It's there. It's right there.
Right.
It is right there, and I might say right there, like, you know.
Well, of course it is.
speaking,
Does anybody really think that their little puny fucking 3-foot telescope is going to actually magnify something that's supposedly that far away, as they say?
It's
going to
retarded.
magnify it from a dot in the sky to, you know, what you see. No, I'm sorry, babe. That's no. You got to think about that distance.
Yeah, and if you explore, and I'm sure you guys have done this a million times, but inverse square law just completely annihilates any of these big numbers. It just annihilates it, and that's a proven thing that exists. You know, like the inverse square law annihilates landing on the moon. It disqualifies landing on the moon because you go blind and or freeze to death halfway there, You know, it's just, like nobody thinks about this shit, but this is stuff that's actually measurable, and you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need any of us talking about it. You know,
common sense. Common sense.
Oh
yeah.
Terry Eicher did a video not too long ago, and if you haven't seen it yet, I put it in the back chat. So it's terrestrial observations of the sun. It's some awesome sundog footage in this thing. We're talking like a full cross of a sundog off a mountaintop. It's awesome. Put it together really well, really well, I think.
Yeah, he does some good stuff, man. He knows. What's going on, Snowman?
Greetings and salutations from the north.
The north.
The north. You know, the United States is at war with Canada right now.
Oh, no.
We have been for years.
Yeah.
Well, the government.
The Great Maple Syrup.
I'm not going to come down there with
You're muted, or your mic isn't working, or something there, buddy.
I hear you.
Oh, I can hear.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go figure.
You never had problems, Cubby, at all, ever?
Yeah, we just left Detroit, and we just dodged a blizzard by like 2 hours. I guess you guys are getting drilled up there, man.
Yeah, we got about a foot now accumulated, and that's after all the air pressure from the sky compacts it down over days. The 11 pounds of pressure that comes pushes it down after a few days. But yeah, we've only got about probably 2 feet so far this year. Like, it melted away and then came back. But yeah, in my town where I am, I'm about 200 kilometers north of Toronto, almost directly north, and like to the dot 200 kilometers. But yeah, up here it's a totally different climate. It's always got a foot of snow until May. The ice comes off the water around the end of May.
Yeah, it gets cold up that way, man.
Oh, I heard.
So yeah, I was saying earlier, the ICC is wanting to arrest Trump. So our response is going to be to change the law.
Have they ever arrested a president in history?
Have they ever arrested anybody?
No. Fuck no. No. I remember they were wanting to arrest fucking Nixon, man. It's not going to
After
happen.
he bombed Yemen, Somalia, Venezuela, and Colombia, the ICC now wants to arrest the US President Trump. But something important in response to that, the US just threatened the ICC, and you need to know what they said. Specifically, the US said if the ICC ever tries to arrest current US officials for what they've done in office this time, then the US will place huge sanctions onto the ICC. In fact, the sanctions they said they'll place onto the International Criminal Court would be so big that they would basically never be able to operate again. But you need to know that this isn't just the US saying this for Trump now. They're saying this about after he leaves office. A US official said, quote, "There is growing concern that after Trump leaves office, the ICC will turn its attention to Trump, to the vice president, to the secretary of war and other officials, and pursue prosecutions against them." And the official also said, quote, "This is unacceptable and we will not allow it to happen." And so because of that, the US wants to make sure that they're never going to be prosecuted in the future for things they've done now. And they're going to do that by changing the laws and the definition of the ICC, they say. In fact, the US wants to actually change the definition of the laws of the ICC so that they're never allowed to prosecute US officials in the future. And so technically, if this happened, US officials would be above the law. The president and the government could do whatever they wanted without the risk of being arrested in the future for it. This is a real thing. The report came out today, and the US is planning to place sanctions onto the ICC if they don't implement those new laws. Now, the current Trump administration might want to do this to prevent them being arrested for things they've already done at this term in office, or things they're about to do, possibly to Venezuela. All we know is that the US has threatened the ICC that if they don't make the US and US officials exempt from the law, then the US will sanction them to the point they will never be able to operate again. And despite the fact this is really breaking news, nobody's talking about it, which is why you should probably leave me a follow for some more global news which nobody covers.
Man, the more time I spend away from like even watching any of that garbage, the more stupid it gets, the more you start looking at it. It's like if you just take a week's break from it and you go back and look at the narrative day to day, it's retarded times 10. You know, and you don't have like it's just dumb. It's just dumb. And then they have to also scale it back to the generations younger than us so that they understand it in the propaganda. And so when you look at it, you know, I guess call us all seasoned vets in this, whatever we're doing. You look back on it like, oh my God, they have to scale it to stupid dumb. And like the whole, you know, the Erica Kirk thing is now just gone through the fucking roof. It's just dumb.
You can't by accident make it look that stupid.
I know. It's just like they're going for a certain demographic that they have to capture. They have to capture the minds of that demographic. And it's so obvious when you look at it, just take the blinders off and you're like, oh my God, it is that bad. That you there's really, you just throw your arms in the air and you're just like, well, like if they're that stupid to look at this, there's a new channel out.
Okay.
And they're talking about the 30-06, and they're saying that they're shooting whatever they're shooting up there. They said it must have a steel neck. There's something that's going around like the shooting channels, and it's an inside joke for the 30-06 thing, right? I mean, the buddy of Sarge's did a whole experiment with the 30-06 on an actual piece of meat that exploded that thing, and then she's out there with pyrotechnics and all this stuff, and it's just like, wow, it has gone full WWE.
I think they purposely did that too, saying it was a 30-06 and all that, so that it wouldn't match what was going on. They wanted ballistic experts to come out and say that wasn't done with that, but they're still pushing the narrative that Charlie Kirk was shot.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there was nobody got shot. They got people looking for fucking phantom shooters.
Yeah. And people still chase it. People still chase it. I mean, that's what they want. They want you to chase your little rabbit holes down over here and that. And if anyone's actually seen what a 30-06 can do to anything, it's violent. It's awful.
Yeah, it makes a mess. But the question is, have they set a trial date for this character yet?
No. It'll never happen.
Yeah, wait a second. They did. In Provo, Utah, they had like this motorcade, almost like a military motorcade that was taking this kid to court. He's wearing civilian clothes. I want you to pay attention to his demeanor. Does this look like somebody that's worried about the fucking gas chamber or the electric chair or whatever they do in Utah? He doesn't to me. Not one bit, but he appeared in court, I guess, today. And
he might have genetic fears from the gas chamber. Oh, too soon.
I see the gun in his pants.
Being delivered to this courthouse. Some of the doors.
Hang on, let me see if I got the volume up right. Yeah.
Are zip tied, so all types of measures being taken to make sure that this proceeding happens safely and securely today. Now, on the docket today, perhaps one of the most important issues, there was an October 24th hearing in which Judge Graff determined Robinson will be allowed to wear civilian clothing in court, as you see on your screen right now. But
now look at this kid's demeanor, his expressions and everything. Does this look to you like somebody who's worried about a death penalty?
Looks like classic Duper's Delight to me.
Dude, I tell you what, man, a third-rate, half-drunk fucking defense lawyer could slam dunk this fucking thing.
Well, how are they having a court case when there wasn't a crime scene? I still can't get over that. I just don't understand what that even is. Like, it's just going to be a circus show. It's going to be
paved over that in 2 days.
Why is there military personnel in the court?
That's who escorted him.
I know, but okay. I don't know why they're in the court though.
It's dramatic effect.
Yeah.
Dramatic effect. Most of the audience won't ask that.
I mean, you got an officer over to the right. You don't need the military there. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, yeah, this guy's a cop over here on this right hand, but this guy over here, that might be a cop too, though. The way they dress.
Could be.
Has to remain shackled. Now, also in that October 24th hearing, general security measures and being delivered to this courthouse.
That's him at the courthouse. He didn't look like he was real worried about a death penalty to me.
Not at all.
Oh,
here's an interesting one. Like one of my favorite ones wasn't Alex Jones fined like something $10 billion, some ridiculous amount a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Like all these court cases, there's never any resolution, so it's another kicking the can down the road moment with all of these things because it's memory hole stuff, right?
Oh, he was gonna have to sell his studio and all that other shit. I noticed that he's still on.
He's still on. He
He's
hasn't
still
gone
on.
anywhere.
No.
You know, so like you have to ask yourself a real simple question in all this. Is like, if they're still talking, then they're valuable to, you know, the thing that's putting it out in front of you. You know, we've all,
For
we all know
emotional
that.
people.
For
Well, you
emotional
know,
people.
while we've been distracted by this Charlie Kirk bullshit and everything, Congress just passed this multi-billion-dollar fucking resolution to give Israel a bunch of fucking money.
Isn't that a surprise?
I'll tell you what, man, it is time for the torches and the pitchforks, people. I'm telling you right now, it is time.
I was thinking about this. It was like because we did the drive from Detroit back here, and I noticed like the little spraying things up in the sky thing was happening a lot more than I had ever noticed as the drive down. And I was like, how do I put this the right way if I do a post, and I put it out there so that it doesn't sound like I'm a terrorist, which I'm not. I'm a terrorist on the guitar, you know. But it's like, look, you can just take a Louisville Slugger, and if enough families take a Louisville Slugger down to the city council meeting, you're going to raise eyebrows, and they're not going to do anything because they have no power. But whoever they answer to, you just take that same Louisville Slugger with all your friends and family members in your neighborhood, and you go down to the person they answer to with the Louisville Slugger. It's not a real violent weapon. It's just a bat. You know, it's baseball, right? It's Masonic. You know, you take that down there, you can do that, and you just keep going until somebody says we can't do anything else because we're outnumbered. And you're like, hey, we all breathe the same air. Maybe you want to stop doing that shit. You know, maybe you want to stop spraying shit in the sky.
Well, that's kind of the conundrum, though, right? Is so like they're spraying themselves. I was saying that today. Like I've been getting weird smells in my city. Like I don't care if I sound like a psycho because I know I already am like 50%.
It's not psychotic. They're spraying shit up there, and we're breathing it. And
Yeah,
I didn't consent to it.
I don't think that those planes. I don't think those planes are manned.
I was thinking about that too, Saab. I was like, okay, so what kind of psycho would you get that would spray himself and his kids? And then there was this whole thing. It's like, well, they don't have any families. There's just these lone wolves that get paid a lot of money to fly the planes. I think they remote control those motherfuckers.
They're sure diving and going, you know, at the rate of speed that they're diving and going up. That'd be hard for any pilot. You know,
Yeah, I'm just like, why would you spray yourself? I mean, that is the question of the hour. And yet, you know, people can't get past the contrails thing. It's like, no, we've done the contrails explanation for I don't know how many years. We know how contrails behave. They ain't contrails, and we're breathing it. And so, like, you know, I don't have any kids, so I don't have any skin in the game. But I put this
see one of those things flying over, fucking up a nice day, and I sit there thinking, man, I wish I had a Stinger missile.
I was gonna say, it's like none of us have like surface to air missile technology, and and then we don't want to shoot it down because we could endanger somebody on the ground. It's like, so what do you do then? You're like, well, who's flying the planes and who's the company that's flying the planes? There was a housewife that actually confronted one of these pilots, and it's out there. I'm shouting this out to the chat. I know somebody out there saw it, where she confronts one of these pilots, or one, not pilot. It was one of the people in the company, and he would not answer what it was. But she had actually tracked down at least one of the companies that was doing it. And he just misdirected and redirected and did all sorts of stuff to not answer any questions. So like, but we all breathe this air, and I like sun. I'm a big fan of sun. And when you see it, like I saw it because I've been out here on the coast for so long, you know, now that I can actually, I get a difference when I'm on the mainland. And you could see, you know, the mesh. You could see the mesh. You could see the X's. Sometimes I feel like they're doing little fuck yous to us on the ground because they do little swirly things, and they'll actually draw things in the sky. And I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. And then I'm like, oh, what if it is remote controlled?
When I see them running in tandem with like it's very rare, but I've seen it dozens of times where they're tandem. Like they got a wingman on the right, and they're just pouring smoke, man.
I live next to an airport, and they never take off or land there ever. So I'm almost convinced it's coming from military bases somewhere.
That's what I'm getting at. You can't get permission to fly that fucking close. You're not allowed to fly that close. I couldn't, me and my buddy, take up a Cessna and just go in formation. You're not allowed.
Well, and if they're, you know, they've openly said about the chemtrails, they are spraying people. You know, so the contrail's out the window on that. And not to mention, no commercial flight is going to be doing the patterns that they're doing with, you know, passengers aboard those planes.
Which is a bugger of that is this. So they've got a compounded lie here. So first of all, it's built on a hoax. If it's geoengineering, they're calling it geoengineering as public record, but they don't want to talk about it that much because they want to be sly. Yeah, it's geoengineering. Yeah, but that's built on a hoax too. It's built on a climate change hoax, that's just bullshit. All right, so they build another one on top of that. So you've got a layered lie, and then you've got this third tier, which like I've been toying with. Really, it's aluminum. What are the elements?
Barium.
If you guys know all the
barium, aluminum, there's a whole bunch of shit.
Right,
in there.
and so like they're particulates, and they can be breathed in, right? Well, what can react to particulates being breathed in is millimeter waves. And I don't spend a lot of time getting all paranoid about this shit because like I don't have a surface to air missile battery and I wouldn't use it. Although sometimes I would like to.
No, you're onto something,
but
if there was an atmosphere with aluminum in it and you hit it, what happens when you put aluminum in a microwave? It literally is similar type, and that's the scary part too. They have the
so you just ramp. How do you eliminate a large portion of the population without firing a gun?
Why do you think those trees in those weird fires were burning from the middle out?
Yeah, so you have a weapon.
They've been taking up those metals in the water. Into the tree, and then
this isn't paranoid shit. This is real. It's real shit.
Inside out. Yeah,
you can't go around worrying about it, but you can have some faith, and there's some mediation in some higher power in all of this, with hopes that nobody would unleash this kind of millimeter wave powers over the cell phone towers. You'd hope that nobody would do that, but at the same time. But at the same time, like I would recommend everybody out there to get to know the owners of the towers near you and be like, is there an off switch on this thing? We're not even We're not even talking about burning your towers down, which might come to that. But like, do you have an off switch just in case like everybody starts fighting with each other or they just go up in flames? We can turn that thing off just in case they do flip that thing on, because like they've been spraying this shit.
There's lots of copper in there and selling saws.
Just go to the go to the homeless population. Like, dude, there's a bunch of copper in that tower over there.
Got some scrap.
I mean, if just me playing the role of the opposite person, like the person in power, if I play that role and I role play it and war game it, like how do you get at a lot of people without firing a gun? I mean, that's to me like, and everybody has one of these weapons in their kitchen all over America. In
other words, what's the what's the sneakiest, Jewiest fucking thing I could do? They've come a long way from poisoning wells. They can. They're getting the food and everything else too. Have you ever gotten a DUI?
I got one.
Did you get one?
I got one when I was 23.
In my driveway for revving my engine. There was a noise complaint, went bad, and the car was off the road for months.
Yeah, I got one when I was 24.
I got one when I was 23, and I did deserve it, and I learned my lesson, and I did not need to do that again.
Check this out, roadside. This is beautiful.
How many drinks have you had tonight, sir?
7 Guinness, 15 glasses of wine, and 11 shots of tequila.
That's a lot, but that's still no excuse why your wife should be driving.
That's a good one. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's no excuse why your wife should be driving. Did you see where Kristi Noem got confronted about deporting a combat veteran, a U.S. combat veteran? This guy served in Panama, and she shipped his ass back over to Korea. And he's a United States combat veteran, but she said that, no, we've never done that shit. And they brought the dude in on a Zoom call. This is fucking great.
This is going to be how many United States military veterans have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either, but I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Sejun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989. Like many veterans, he struggled with PTSD and substance abuse after his service. He was arrested in the 1990s for some minor drug offenses, nothing serious. He never hurt anyone besides himself, and he's been clean and sober for 14 years. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
Sir, I'm grateful for every single person that has served our country and follows our
And
laws.
can you please
and
tell
knows
Mr.
that our
Park
laws
why
are
you
important
deported
and
him?
Every one of them needs to be enforced.
But you understand that many veterans struggle with PTSD, many veterans struggle with substance abuse challenges. This man took 2 bullets for our country. Will you have broad authority, by the way, as secretary, to issue humanitarian parole, to do deferred action. Will you commit to at least looking at Mr. Park's case to see if you can help him find a pathway back to this country that he sacrificed so much for?
I will absolutely look at his case, but I want
You're gonna hold on to it like a bulldog, who she'll probably shoot.
Well, he's our property now. If he's served, he's obviously, you can't like take that back. And if he's served, he's a citizen, right? Like, you know what I mean?
That chick reminded me of she reminded me of Lydia from Breaking Bad.
She's got to go to Sherwin-Williams to get her makeup put on.
I just kept wanting to ask, what the guy in the briefcase? I'm like, I have a question for the guy in the briefcase. What'd you do? What'd you do? The fucking prosecutor wouldn't even say it out loud.
Here's that might have been a military dude, Chad. This is the guy. This is on the way to the courthouse right here.
Okay. I saw him step into the camera. He was in military gear.
Could be interesting. Could be breastfeeding this military thing.
What's the point of that?
Yeah, that's either National Guard or something.
That's the sheriff's department.
Yeah, they just played a couple of really cool armored vehicles. That's an escape place.
What's that? They got birds in the air too, man. You got helicopter.
Yeah. But I don't understand the security threat.
Wouldn't want anybody else to get shot.
He may have a gun in his pants.
If there ever was any type of riot, they would have to go lethal. Like, what are they going to do? Like, so
That's where I keep my rifle.
and if there was a riot, why wouldn't they just move the court date or make a secret date? Like,
let's see, taking him into the Sally Port there.
That's a perk walk there. That was turned into like car fucking shows. The perk walk.
Didn't Fauci shoot his bulldog or something? Pit bull?
No, he was using beagles and letting bugs eat them.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Do you know that stuff you seen, that liquid death that they sell?
Yeah.
Okay, so that place they hired a fucking witch doctor to put a curse on the shit, and they actually had a promotional thing where you could do it in writing. You could sell your soul to them.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I think about that Japanese guy that did the experiments with the writing the words on the bottles of water and then freeze flashing the water. Well, what are you going to drink some shit that says liquid death on the side of it for? Think about that.
A witch doctor too on top of that. That'd be nice. Yeah.
Oh, no shit, man. Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here's your moon landing debunk right here, baby. Hang on, there he is. He's back. He's back.
Back again.
He's back. Back again.
Tell a friend.
It's been eating at me for a long time. We didn't go to the moon, at least not when they said we did. They asked me to film it. And I did. I lit it. I staged it. I made it look the way the world expected. It was
straight from the horse's mouth, baby. Mr. Kubrick.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, our illustrious government is doing this shit. This is crazy. This is crazy. Look at this. This is ICE. Ran over a motherfucker.
In this video, we see a man
being arrested by ICE in Vancouver, Washington, just outside of Portland. And we can see an ICE vehicle slowly roll over his legs. And the key word is slowly. Let's watch this back one more time. The driver of this vehicle is an ICE agent that's part of the arrest that's happening just to the left of the vehicle. This ICE agent knew, or should have known, that there's an active arrest that's taken place just to the left of him with a man on the ground. A reasonable person would hear the screams as the tires approach his leg and would stop. They would back off. They wouldn't slowly continue to drive over his legs. It's also interesting to point out that the other ICE agents are unfazed by this.
They don't give a fuck at all.
They are making no indications to the driver, warning him that there's a person on the ground that he's about to run over his legs. There's no immediate rush to try to offer medical aid to this individual that just had their legs crushed by this vehicle. So if you are this man that just had your legs crushed by this ICE agent driving their vehicle over your legs, you need to contact an attorney, and then you need to file a police report with the assistance of your attorney. You need to have your attorney subpoena the ICE office in Vancouver, Washington, so you can find out exactly who the driver of this vehicle is. And then you need to press charges against this individual. You need to sue ICE, but you also need to sue this individual.
Yeah, so by 2038, you know, fuck that shit. Somebody needs to go up and ice those ICE motherfuckers. That's what needs to happen.
Knew or should have known better. And you can also make the case that this was done intentionally. The judge will likely place a lien against this individual's house, their cars, their pension, and any future income that they may make from ICE or outside of ICE, because you are entitled to justice against this reckless, negligent, and possibly even terrorism-like action by ICE.
I've seen that
How
before.
How are they going to spin that into something else? That's what I want.
Yeah.
Cops always use the car as a weapon. I've seen that 2 other times at least. The one time he actually got the other cop too. Like it wasn't even like a huge fight or anything, and like same thing, same way he passed, he rolled over both of them, man. Because he was kind of struggling with the guy. He wouldn't give him his hands, but he was on top of him, and fucking he ran over both their legs.
There's Tom Tucker with some interesting shit.
Israeli occupation troops in Gaza found a Jewish cemetery for soldiers killed in World War I, maintained in pristine condition in the Hamas-run Gaza. And they proudly posted photo ops in front of it without even realizing it undermines their main propaganda about Hamas. I thought Hamas hated all Jews. The Western Zionist media class keeps saying that Hamas are pure, evil, rabid, anti-Semitic spawns from hell. Yet the very existence of this pristine, well-maintained Jewish cemetery alone has shattered all their lies and propaganda. Another propaganda-shattering moment was captured here in a testimony from an Israeli woman about her experience on October 7th that has been completely ignored and buried by Western media outlets. She said, and I quote, "They come in, and I tell them I have 2 children. They say, 'Don't worry, we're Muslim. We will not hurt you.' One of them sees bananas and asks if he can have one. I say yes. They stayed about 2 hours, then left. Anyone with an IQ above 1 knows by now that Israel were responsible for majority of the lives lost on the 7th of October. Apache helicopters raining down Hellfire missiles ran out of ammunition and had to reload multiple times. AK-47 weapons cannot do this to Israeli cars. Take a good look at that."
They're losing support so badly. So badly, they don't even realize how bad.
I've heard this expression, follow the money. Who has the most money out of the two, Hamas or Israel?
Well, Israel don't really have any money. They get it from us.
There you go.
That's the whole thing. But here's what I've been saying right here.
Do Israel's supporters know it's over for them? Like, they know they're going to be despised for the rest of their lives, right? That they will never, ever live down the fact that they supported a live-streamed genocide, and that it will only get worse for them as history clarifies things? Surely they must realize this by now. Surely they must realize that nothing they do for the rest of their lives will ever be as significant as the fact that they played cheerleader for genocide and all of Israel's demented warmongering, long after normal people realized it was the wrong thing to do. That in the eyes of the world, they will all always be, first and foremost, someone who supported and defended history's first live-streamed genocide. I wonder what that's like, knowing that about yourself. If that was me, maybe I'd be pushing for World War III as well, I don't know. Maybe I'd hope we could turn the whole world into Gaza and let the flames wash away human memory of the things we had done. That enough death and destruction spread across enough of the earth would make my crimes look small in comparison or something. It won't work, though. Everyone's always going to remember what they did. Their grandchildren will be disgusted by them. Their families will carry their shame for generations. What a terrible way to be.
I like what they did with the Israeli flag there. Made it into
an hourglass.
Yeah.
Well, there's fights going on all over the place. Look here. Street fight. There we go. Hold on. I don't know why that was doing it. There we go.
I'm Israeli. What do you know about Israel?
I know a lot about your country.
How many Arabs live in Israel?
2 million. What about all the Palestinians that don't have any citizenship in Gaza or live in the West Bank? How about them?
Who told them to leave in 48?
The reality is, you guys were killing a bunch of people, taking villages, everything. That's why they left.
I know a little bit about the Israeli history. 1948, Israel was given a mandate by the British, by the UN.
You're talking about the Balfour Declaration. That was the mandate. You don't even know what you're talking about. The Balfour Declaration is what created the state of Israel.
No.
I'm not even going to talk to this guy. He doesn't even know the history of his country. You're coming in, you don't even know.
Okay, who was the Prime Minister of Palestine?
Oh, now we're going to go to the Prime Minister of Palestine.
Who was it?
Well, here's the thing. They can never create a state because you guys stole it.
48, we were not
You
there.
guys were there. You guys were there since the 1800s. And you guys slowly took the land.
1948, Israel was divided by the UN, by the British, to Egypt, Jordan.
You guys were stealing the land before that. Way before that. You guys came in and took land that doesn't belong to you. We know that.
October 7, who attacked?
Who was occupying the land?
Who attacked?
Why did October 7th happen?
There was not even one Israeli soldier in Gaza.
Why did October 7th happen?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because you guys are a bunch of losers that all you think is how to parasite on other people. Just like you're doing in Sudan, just like you're doing here, just like you're doing everywhere.
You guys are parasites. You guys control our government through bribery and blackmail. You guys
How many
are the
prize Nobel?
parasites.
Why you cannot answer a simple question?
It's very simple. You don't need to have a flag to be a people, you dumbass. You don't get it. See, the problem with you Jews is you guys think you're the supreme people. And if you like Israel so much, go back there. You're fighting here. You're sitting here arguing with me.
You're from Sudan.
No, I'm an American.
I'm American too.
No, you care about Israel though. I don't have another passport. I got one passport.
I got one passport.
Oh, now you got one passport.
Yeah.
You guys are f***ing snakes. He said it earlier you had 2 passports. Now you want to say you got one. You guys are American when it suits you, then you guys are Israeli when it suits you. That's the problem.
Your family is from Sudan.
Yeah, my family's from Sudan. But I was born here.
Your family is killing Christians.
How many kids have Israel killed? How many kids has Israel killed? And you guys just did it in the past 2 years. This guy's still recording me. I like it. It's great. You're embarrassing yourself.
I'm a Jew. This guy makes fun.
It does, bro. It's like, oh, I'm Israel. Hi. These anti-Semites call me out on my bullshit. Oh no! Like he comes in, immediately starts saying, "I'm the victim." This guy's being anti-Semitic. He's spreading hate, recording like a fucking clown.
I'm not a victim. I'm a strong Jew.
You came in and started it, then you come back.
No. I'm coming from yoga.
I was literally standing here. We're doing an interview. You interrupt your interview, and then you go that way, and then you come back. No, this is great content because everyone's gonna laugh at you guys.
I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to document the piece of shit that you are.
Well, that's fine. I'm all over the internet. No one's scared of you, buddy. No one gives a fuck. Everyone sees that your country sucks. You guys kill kids. No one gives a shit. I'm Israel guy. Fuck you and your country.
The people of Israel live.
Israel. You're hated for a reason.
That's fine. You're hated.
This kind of discussion is going on all over the place, man. That's what's so crazy.
I've never seen it before. I never heard it brought up in public when I was growing up. They weren't protesting the stuff in the streets in America, but now they
You
are.
weren't allowed to. People were under this spell. It got to the point where people were even afraid to say the word Jew. And I think that live streaming a genocide changed a lot of that.
Yeah, you don't talk about it in Germany. You don't get. It's illegal to even talk shit about Holocaust deniability or whatever.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's
Well, why would truth need to be protected by law? If it's true, why would it need to be protected by law?
I can't think of a reason.
It's really the first nail in the coffin of censorship, right?
Well, that should tell anybody what they need to know right there. If you have to make a law to make it illegal for anybody to question the events of that particular time period, then you're covering up a lie. There's no other explanation to it.
Well, in China, you're not allowed to say shit. You can't say shit about the.
How do you know
current
that?
regime.
How do you really know that, though?
Oh, that's just a rumor.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. And what are we finding out about what they say? Now, it may be true, but what are we can't say what we want to hear either. Think about that.
I think you don't want to go to a Chinese jail, so that's what I think.
I don't know. I don't want to go to any jail.
No, I know, but comparatively speaking, like.
But how do you know? What do you have to compare it to?
I don't know. I'm still not taking the chance of getting arrested in Mexico neither.
Well, don't get arrested anywhere. How about that?
Yeah. That's inevitable.
Just keep your shit together. Just keep your shit together and don't get arrested. That's that simple, man.
Yeah, but if you don't play along and stuff, they get upset. So.
How do you know?
From experience, not out of town, but like.
I mean, like what I'm saying. How do you know about Chinese? What goes on in China? Where does that information come to you from?
The news, right? Yeah.
Right. Has the news ever lied to you before about anything?
Well, my own behaviors, the way that their culture is. I know a little bit about their culture, like from imported, from importees or aliens, if you will.
Right.
Like,
so basically what you have is hearsay information given to you by a less than reputable source. Same as me.
Yeah, just like I said, any agent friends I would have had along the ways.
What a great way to make your own country look wonderful by pointing your finger at another country and telling people it's awful, especially when they don't have any way of being able to check themselves. Can you just freely go over to North Korea and find out if what they're telling you is true? Nope. You sure can't. You sure can't.
Wow, that's a problem.
I spent 4 years there. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, when you start looking at it, it's unfortunate, but like nothing really adds up when you start doing the math on anything. Like when you start figuring it, like trying to figure out numbers and shit, nothing ever adds up for population.
We were talking about how we know what a different, what's that got to do with numbers?
Well, we don't know anything then, man, because everything we know basically came from external sources. Like,
there you go. And we found that those sources have lied to us repeatedly about every fucking thing. Everything. Our history, who we are, where we are, when we are. Everything that they've told us is a fucking lie. And this is what gets me is people are selective. They're, okay, well, I know they've lied to us about all kinds of shit, but this one thing right here is true. Okay, how do you know that? They don't. They just want it to be. What gets me is when I question the shit about the hollow hoax, when I question it, and people get angry. And I'm like, wait a minute. You want there to have been 6 million people fucking murdered? That's what you want? I'm showing that it couldn't have happened. You should be happier than fuck about that. But you're not. You're angry that 6 million people didn't get killed. Think about how twisted that actually is.
Did they run out of ink in the tattoos? Internet tattoos? Because I mean, the numbers don't add up on their old tattoos they brought back over. You heard that?
I don't know what they got going on with the tattoos.
Yeah, 6 million. Yeah. I don't think they tattooed all 6 million people if there were that many that died in the Holocaust.
Well, cataloging them and all this other putting inmate numbers on them and everything like that, that may or may not be true. But the reality of it is that the story that we're sold, and it's pushed at you in school, that's why they make you read the Diary of Anne Frank and all that other dumb shit, is they got to keep this lie going. It's the key to their power. But that key rusted. That key is rusted. The lock don't open no more. It quit working. More people have figured out that that's bullshit. And this newer generation of people don't give a fuck if it happened or didn't. They're seeing what you're doing right now. That's the key to it. Meanwhile, Bulgaria is just, their government just fucking quit, man.
Nice.
All right, listen up, beautiful people. This is absolutely huge. Bulgaria have just shown the entire world exactly how to make the government listen. Tens of thousands of people have filled the capital, shoulder to shoulder, shouting one message: we have had enough. And now, just within a couple of hours, the Prime Minister and the entire government have resigned. No petitions, no online debates, no waiting for promises that never come, just the people standing together, and the system has folded. Meanwhile, in the UK, we keep getting walked all over, lied to, ignored, censored, and taxed to death, and they still act like our voices don't matter, but they clearly do, because when the people unite, the governments fall, and Bulgaria have just proved it. So let's take note from this, beautiful people. This is the only language that the elites understand, unity, numbers, and people who aren't scared anymore. If we want real change, if we want real safety and honesty in a country that is run for the people, and honestly, we better start realizing that nobody is coming to save us. We are the power. We are the force, and Bulgaria have just showed us the blueprint right now. We just need to take note and stand up for our country. Love you all, beautiful people. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and obviously, I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
And that's how you do it. We've had enough. We're done. We're not doing it no more.
What do you know about these?
All right, listen up, beautiful people. This
is the first I've ever seen this happen anywhere that I can remember.
Oh, but I see it happening more and more.
Didn't it happen in Shangri-La or wherever it was? Didn't they storm there?
Oh yeah. It was one of those. It was Asian country. Yeah.
Somewhere
It was,
India or something. I can't remember where. It doesn't matter. But whatever came out of any of that.
Nepal, wasn't it? Nepal.
Well, that's another one. There's two. Yeah, I think both. But yeah, Nepal was more recent. Yes. But did anybody ever, whatever came of it would be my next question.
This Charlie Kirk shit's getting heavy. That little saga.
Well, I talked to 3 people about it, and they didn't even watch any of it. They didn't even know about it. Just 3 people, random people at Arby's I was working with. They're like, did you hear about Charlie Kirk? You know about that? And no, and I had to explain to them what happened. Oh, okay. I kind of heard something about it, but nobody really paying attention to it, from what I can tell. Like the average Joe.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that don't know shit about nothing. I mean, they're not even aware.
Carly said it best. Yeah, there's a lot of stupid fucking people out there. I don't know. Sorry, George Carling. I have. Sorry.
There's some flatliners, man. Flatliners. That's why I say there's a lot of people, if you used to hook an EEG up to their head, you just get like a fucking blip once in a while, like if they had to shit or get hungry or something. That's about it. Other than that, there's like, I don't think any kind of a fucking thought process that takes place.
Sometimes it doesn't take long to figure that out.
I mean, wow.
Well, the good thing about it, these 3 people actually went and looked at it after that. So, yeah.
I mean, here's the kind of shit like running logistics. That's why I like this guy. And all this stuff about the old buildings and the stories that go along with it and everything like that. And you start looking at, okay, well, that's a cool story. And then you start digging a little deeper, looking into the logistics of it. And that's like what my lunch break does. Looking into the fucking logistics of this shit. And it's like impossible.
How do you get an ice cube? How do you get an ice cube for your whiskey back in the day when you were running around shooting Indians and everything, right?
Right.
How'd you get an ice cube?
Look at this. Watch them struggle with this fucking block.
Buildings in which we just saw and how heavy they were, right? Tons and tons of stones. Well, here's a stone that probably weighs about 20 tons and can barely move from a truck.
Look at that.
Right? You're trying to move that, the truck's moving, everything's falling, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And especially, let's say these buildings were built in the 1800s or 1700s when there were only about 1,000 people and none of this technology existed. Well, that's another good question. How on earth did all of those things get built, right? Or moved, or something like this, right? Or something like this. I think it goes to show that when we look into the past, things were very, very advanced, but we were told that we were supposedly, like I said, running around on horses and wagons and on. So we're going to go back to 1893 Chicago, and this is not the Chicago in which I know, right? The Chicago I know does not have statues like this and look anything like this. But this is what Chicago looked like before it was reset, right? The fires that we heard about in Chicago and all those things, they were removing all of this. Look at this detail. This is a completely different city in which we know of today. Because look at this. Look at the architecture. Look at the design. Think of how hard it would be to create all of this, right? We can barely make a little bean and wrap it in mirrored paper, let alone statues like this made out of copper, right? Look at this archway. Look at the detail here. This is in Chicago. This is old world history, which is not taught about, right? They keep us in the dark. They don't teach us about our true potential and how there used to be a unified, advanced society, which built like this all over the world.
See, that's what I mean. They lie to you about every fucking thing. What else are we going to...
A lot of it's still there. They've just tried to destroy most of it.
Yeah.
And you got the Field Museum on. You can go. There's thousands of places you could go to. The infrastructure is still in place. They just either tried to build over it with new or destroy what's left.
Well, yeah, stuff you take for granted, man. Stuff you take for granted, man.
Yeah.
And you don't think about it. And that's what I like to do, is sit back and go, what would have been necessary to build this fucking thing? How did they do this in that time period? This right here, this is crazy. Like these bridges. Check this out. This is fucking crazy too. You got to think about this.
Look at this photograph from 1890. It shows the magnificent Stone Arch Bridge in Minneapolis. Notice anything unusual? The bridge spans 2,100 feet across the Mississippi River. Yet, when we examine the historical construction records, something doesn't add up. Official history tells us this bridge was built in just 22 months by a workforce of fewer than 300 men. But here's where it gets interesting. The bridge piers descend nearly 60 feet below the waterline, anchored into bedrock through layers of sand, silt, and solid limestone. Let me ask you something. How do you dig foundation holes 60 feet deep underwater in 1881 with hand tools and basic steam equipment? How do you pump out millions of gallons of water continuously while pouring concrete that somehow sets perfectly in those conditions? And more importantly, why do engineering reports from the period make almost no mention of the foundation work? The most difficult, time-consuming, and expensive part of any bridge construction? This isn't just one bridge. This is a pattern that repeats across hundreds of so-called 19th century bridges around the world. From London to St. Petersburg, from San Francisco to Prague, we find massive stone arch bridges, suspension bridges, and viaducts that official history claims were built in impossibly short time frames, often during periods of economic depression, war, or social upheaval. But what if these bridges weren't built in the 1800s at all? What if they're remnants of something far older, far more advanced, and systematically attributed to the wrong civilization? What?
Yeah, I mean, how do you get pilings? How do you dig foundation holes and shit 60 feet underwater?
Yeah. I was
In
thinking of
18
that even in modern day. Well, even in the modern day, I'm not sure how to do it. Like, I'm sure we can because I've
Well,
seen.
they had to siphon the river up, man. They had to clear it out before they built that.
Sure.
Well, I don't know. You might be able to divert it somehow, but I don't understand how you fucking possibly could.
That'd be a whole nother engineering undertaking in itself. You'd have to build diversions for the water to go down. You'd have to get it to divert into, no.
Moses shit. Yeah.
No. Something going on. Something going on here, man. For real.
Yeah. Even in modern tech, though, I wonder, like, that might be one of them dark rabbit holes where it's like, oh, yeah, well, we run the rebar down really good. I don't know. I can't really off the top of my head.
There's no rebar in those structures.
Well,
no.
Yeah, I know, but also underwater rigs and shit, like, they must be doing that. Like, they must be using concrete underwater somehow.
You would be able to set it. Wouldn't set.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when I first got into this topic, there were people doing the old trains, like the hydro train systems, and like these are amazing. Back in the 1800s, they had these amazing fast trains and stuff, and like John Levy was doing shows on them and stuff. I don't see those anymore, but yeah, the tech has gone backwards, man. I think.
Of course, it really has. They dumbed
continue at all.
I don't know so much if it's gone backwards is that they just give us old tech from time to time to experiment with here in the present, but whatever. That's just a theory of mine. Doesn't mean it's true.
It could be.
Well, this is interesting right here too. This I thought it's along that same lines. This is in Washington, D.C. I should go up there with my video camera and do some long ass take, but I'm not going up there in the cold.
I might do some around here. There's so many. I've got tons of buildings I can take pictures and videos of.
That whole city is just such a fucking piece of shit. The best way to do it is to go up to catch the metro way up in Northern Virginia. Park your car and then take the metro because that city's a fucking pain in the ass.
You talking about DC?
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister used to live there. I went to the National Mall once and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, I know. And they got all these obtuse angles that go through, the way the streets are. You go to make like a right-hand turn and you're almost going 180 degrees, it's like, whoa, it's like goes off at an angle like this,
And everything's so compacted together.
Yeah. And you don't want to run over some drunk senator. You get in a lot of trouble. Oh, wait, what did I do?
They run over hookers all the time, don't they?
Oh, those are over by College Heights. You got to go over there.
If not Rome, why Rome shaped?
Yes.
So I went to the National Archive building in Rome, Italy. I mean, Washington, D.C., to check out this building that Matrix says was built in 1935 with tripod, cranes and pulleys. And if somebody said, hey, I'm going to take you to Rome in a time machine in its prime, and you open your eyes and you're standing in front of this building, you would think you were in the heart of Rome. If you face one way, don't turn around, you're in Rome. Look at that. You know why? Because this is Rome. The Roman Empire never went away. They never went away. They conquered the entire world. All of DC, the whole city, all of New York, the whole DC, the Capitol building, the monuments, all of that is all Rome. And this building, look at these pillars. They didn't have laser technology to make these pillars look like this. And the Matrix said they quarried this Indiana limestone and they chiseled it to be perfect. Hand chiseled. No technology. No
bullshit.
Just thousands of craftsmen and masons to create this. Now look at this door here, guys. This door, as a reference point, I'm 6 feet tall. All right. This door is 38 feet and 7 inches tall, each door. Okay. Look at the frame. How'd they get the frame to look like that? And each door is 6.5 tons each.
Have you ever set a door?
Not one that size.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, that fucking thing right there would be insane.
Impossible. They're not even easy. Even some of them, you know, some of them ain't even easy at the size we use.
No, that's what I'm saying. You get a real
Get an oak door.
Yeah, an oak entry door, you know, especially if it's in a frame with the jams and whatnot. This obviously wasn't, but still, that's a bitch.
Yeah,
that's a serious bitch trying to get that thing and manhandle it up to where you want it to be and get it just right so you balance it right. And these things are perfectly balanced too.
Yeah.
That's like solid iron, dude. Look at
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That one looks like some kind of metal.
It does.
Bronze.
There
And they
you go.
allegedly built it at the John Harsh foundry to craft this and to make these doors. They're about 10 feet wide, almost 39 feet tall. How did they do that? And the Matrix couldn't find any evidence, no photo evidence of the construction of these doors at the foundry. They couldn't find it. They were like, oh, it's just, word of mouth. There's no real evidence to prove that these doors are built at that foundry. And the construction photos for this place, they're photoshopped, man. If you deep dive and look at them with a critical eye, you can tell they're photoshopped. They're fake. Here's another thing I need you guys to understand. This is a stone building, rock. The whole building is stone, marble, and bronze. This is not something you can just easily throw up. Okay? This required very advanced technology. Look how sharp these pillars are. The Matrix is just the audacity. They are very, very confident in their stories. And most of us just accept it. Remember, this is stone. Heavy. Visiting this place kind of made me mad. I was like, dude, this place is built for giants. Obviously, this is a Roman building, perfectly chiseled with lasers, built for giants. Who needs a door that big? What dude needs a door that big? I can't stand going to DC because you're literally walking in an ancient civilization. You're walking in a pre-reset structure or buildings everywhere. And they want us to believe that they did that by hand at the quarry, put it on trucks, and drove it across country. LIES. What does that spell? Cap. They're lying to us. Look at that place.
Definitely gonna pay some attention to that place when I go.
Not just how'd you set it, how you even open or close it.
Right? Some of these places, they got those doors and they got a little human-sized door cut into the door. Like a doggy door or something,
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we were to them.
And that's another thing, like I've mentioned before about like people want to go, go overseas one way or another, whether it be from here to there or there to here. But it's like all this stuff is all around everywhere. You can be right here in America and see the same structures as you could if you went to Italy or wherever.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, back then or whatever point in time, how much closer, were our countries together, or where's that missing land where they, kind of transported all this stuff to get it back and forth, because it had to get there somehow. No matter, we don't really have the answer, but it had to get there somehow.
Yeah, I was arguing with the girl about evolution, and I told her there were such thing as giants, and she couldn't find proof for her evolution. And I was getting ready to show her about giants. She just ran off. Go get educated. I'm like,
yeah, that's what they always say.
Argue for a giant.
Well, here's why it can't be our ancestors' realm unfolding is because it's fucking impossible with today's equipment. That's why aliens are demons. Okay, you better understand that right off the bat. But this is why it's spooky stuff. Why is it unsettling to you to realize that the things you thought were myths are actually true, and the things that you thought were true are actually myths? That's the real psyop, man.
Yeah,
that's the real psyop. You've been given a portion of the collective amnesia. You don't know who you are. You don't know when you are. You don't know where you are.
that means they have to rewrite all the history and tear it down, and all the money they've dropped into it, and what they still have the process going through it today. You know, they have to redo all that, and that's the thing. It's all about the money,
Mm-hmm.
and that would tear their whole system down for them to do that. Same with NASA. Same with all these things are connected.
Yeah, they're a government organization for one, and they get what, 28 million last year, I think. That's
If
plenty.
that's a realm unfolding, if that's true, then so are yours.
Yeah, there you go.
If that's true, so are yours.
Join the club.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I can trace one ancestor back to 1752.
But that's how, look at earlier when we showed that place, the Yerkes Observatory. They turned it into this observatory. Why? Because now it's a tourist attraction. They can charge money for people to come in there. They can make it into a wedding place to have weddings and concerts and stuff. It's a way to make money, out of something that was just sitting there before, that they can't explain how it was built.
Now, that's Cabbage Patch Bastard would insinuate that I'm of questionable parentage, but no, I have parents.
Me too.
I have
God, don't bite you, dude.
You might not have parents. You might be a monkey on a spinning ball,
He's over talking about Satan's little season now.
I'm a garbage pail kid.
Yeah,
I am
are.
too.
I like them. I had a couple of them.
in a test tube for sure.
For digital ID.
Mm-hmm.
I'm signing up for it. Yeah.
Been ready.
So I don't know if you saw what happened in Vietnam a couple of weeks ago, but because so many people in that country refused the digital ID, the bankers got together and kicked 80 million people out of their bank accounts, locked them out, froze them. They're just out. And there's nothing they can do about it because they refused to take the digital ID. Now, if that doesn't tell you how serious this is and how bad they want that digital ID program put into place so they can control every aspect of your life. In previous videos, I used to talk about how dangerous the programmable digital currency that they're trying to move us to would be for you. I talked about how they can tell you where you can spend it, how much you can spend, how long you have to spend it, and if they don't like something you do or say, they'll just shut off your money and you've got no access to anything. Well, this just proved it. And if you're saying, well, it's Vietnam, who cares? What they're testing in other countries that are not as strong as we are is coming here if we don't resist. Any of you that got a digital ID needs to go rescind it. Now, they're going to give you flack when you go, but who cares? Demand a regular ID. You can use your passport to still fly, but you refuse to do digital ID or you're going to regret it. I'm telling you. Check out this video.
What is happening now to solidify that it's coming? Well, it happened in Vietnam. 86 million people have no longer access to their banks because they refuse to comply with biometrical standards for digital identification. Denial by default. As of September 1st, 2025, banks across Vietnam are closing accounts deemed non-compliant to new biometric rules. Authorities estimate over 86 million accounts have been restricted. And the reason why this is all going on is because let's say the World Economic Forum, can we just force them to comply by restricting their bank accounts? Because if you have no money, what are you going to do? Eventually, you're going to comply. And if you don't, Vietnam can assert a martial law. They have no reason not to say, all you people who are trying to usurp this system by bartering or whatever, if we catch you doing that, you're going to jail. And that will force people to accept the digital system.
So guys, it has never been more serious than now. Reject the digital ID. I don't care if you are inconvenienced by it. If you have to get into a longer line to fly, or you got to go get a passport to fly, who cares? At least you will still have your freedom. Because if we lay down like we did with COVID and all the ridiculous rules they put down for us, when all all we had to say was no, we're not doing it. If we refuse to stand up now, you will be a slave. All you have to say is no, and they will back down because we outnumber them 10 million to 1. There's nothing they can do if we just say no. We're not doing it.
Wasn't it Nancy Reagan's motto? Just say no.
It was. Meanwhile, her husband was bringing in tons of fucking cocaine.
Oh, this guy out here. He's talking about homuncular labs in Australia.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That's the idea of a homunculus goes back into antiquity. It was supposedly alchemists could bring inanimate objects to life,
With
create a small little being. Man, we don't know what the fuck they were doing. They were doing all kinds of crazy shit, man.
Who was there to guard him? Who was saying, "Hey, don't do that"? You know.
Well, the church.
Yeah.
The church would get after him for heresy and shit like that. The church had a lot more power.
They don't have it now.
Well, they do. They just delegate it out.
The government's, yeah.
It's like the King of England. He doesn't rule. He reigns. He has a prime minister to rule. You understand? That way, when you get all pissed off, you don't go chop the king's head off. You go after the prime minister, see? But he's acting on the behest of the king. It's just a puppet. It's an obvious puppet. You get mad at the puppet. It's like there was a show on years ago, Soap, it was called. And there was a character on there that he had a ventriloquist dummy. And it was Chuck and Bob was the duo. And the guy that run the puppet, he never say shit. He hardly ever said shit. But the puppet did all the talking. And he would say some reprehensible shit. And everybody would attack the fucking puppet. And they got to believing that puppet was real, so much so that the guy was put a blindfold on the puppet. And told the guy, says, I bet you that they had the puppet say, I bet you I can guess any object that you pick up and you're holding. And he's go, okay. He holds up something. He goes, oh, it's an apple. He goes, all right. And he can't figure out how the fucking puppet's doing it because he's thinking the puppet's real. See?
I got you.
I got to see if I can find that. Oh, I'm thinking tomorrow night we should watch a movie. Odd Thomas. What do y'all think about that?
Never heard of it.
Okay, so I showed the trailer last night. I'll show it again here in just a minute. Let me see. God damn it. What was I going to look for?
Odd Thomas.
No, I just got sidetracked as I was going to look.
You're a puppet guy you were going to look for.
Oh, yeah.
Thought I was sleeping.
He's not. You remember the spinoff of that show was Benson, right?
All right, yeah. Look, this is funny as shit. This is, I think, taken off of a VHS. So I'll tell you how long ago this show was.
Mid 80s,
70s.
Ooh, even older.
I'm following the guy who picked it up.
Where's Elaine?
They say she'll be here by 10 o'clock tonight.
Oh, thank God.
Jody call?
Yeah, he sounded okay. He said he might drop by.
Right.
Hi, guys. Hey, Bob and I have been working on a new act. We thought you might like to see it.
Fellas, please, we're not really in the mood now.
I just kind of needed the practice. I thought maybe it might break the tension around here. The trick is I read minds.
Oh, come on.
No, it's true. I do. Come on, Chuck. Do your stuff. Okay. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Are you ready? Ready. Okay. Danny, take something, anything, hold it up in front of Bob. It's round. It's glass. It's straight.
He's peeking. He's got to be peeking in there.
He's got to be peeking, right? And the other guy, Bert, he's sitting there looking like, wait a minute, how the hell do you do that?
All right, wait a minute. All right. What's that?
Okay, I got it. It's
This look on the wife,
Yeah, right.
is priceless, man. She's like, come on, really?
it's red. It's round. It's an apple. This is amazing.
Do you know what kind of a gold mine we got here?
Kurt, Chuck can see what you're holding up.
But Bob can't. Daniel, did you get it?
No.
How'd you do it?
Oh, he can't tell.
Oh, come on, tell me.
No,
Tell me.
Hey, that's my boy.
Come on, tell me.
What's going on?
Is there a trick involved?
You are the trick. That's the point.
That was a great fucking show, man. I love that. I should binge watch that again. That was a great TV show. Did you anybody here ever watched it?
Oh yeah, Billy Crystal was in that one, and Robert Guillaume, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He was Benson. He was the he got a spin-off show after that called
Yeah, I
Benson.
remember. Oh yeah.
But yeah, he was that girl's sister's butler.
Yeah, and the old guy that was sitting over there on the couch with the lady, wasn't he? He was the commandant, right, on Police Academy, wasn't he?
No.
Yes. No. Very similar look, though. Very similar look.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, damn, that sure looks like him.
I thought he was a vampire. I remember him as a vampire for some reason.
Listen, that show was crazy because that dude that was sitting on that couch there, he supposedly got abducted by aliens and shit, and he thought he could like run his, go like this, and then he'd disappear, and he believed nobody could see him and shit. Yeah, it was crazy. That whole show was crazy. Realm Unfolding. What's happening, brother?
Hey, man. How y'all doing?
Good to see you.
We doing,
Good.
man. Good.
Good. Hey, man, I got some rabbit holes I could send you guys down, man. If you want to.
More rabbit holes, not more rabbit holes. I bet you can't. I bet you don't have too many rabbit holes I ain't been down already.
All right, so check
Give
this
me your
out.
words.
You ever heard of the New Madrid earthquake?
Yes.
Right.
The new Madrid fault. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
New Madrid fault. Yes. I've
So
heard of that.
basically, it was an earthquake back in the early 1800s that a lot of people said triggered the mud flood. That because when you look at a lot of the buildings everywhere, they're all covered in mud or like halfway underground and things like that.
Well, I tend to think that there may have been like not just one event, but a series of events. And it's very possible that like a new Madrid quake could cause other quakes elsewhere. And an interesting thing that happens during earthquakes is a thing called liquefaction. The ground will literally turn to fucking mud. Dry ground will literally turn to fucking mud.
Yeah, check this out. And not only was see the way they taught us history, they fractured it because we have in America there was the Civil War going on, there was Napoleon, it was all these wars going on. There was a bunch of wars in China, but the way they teach us history, it's like discombobulated and it's all fractured, but it was all one global event going on. It was the old world giving way to the new world, which is what I like to call the plastic world, because now everything is all petroleum based and plastic based. And back then it was more free energy based, where it was using the natural energy of the earth, because like think about it, we had things like blimps, we had steam energy.
Those dirigibles. That's a whole nother rabbit hole right there too.
Yeah, we had
the
those.
dirigibles, and they got everybody scared to death of the fucking things because of one explosion, and it was really considerably the casualties involved were quite minimal compared to how many people were actually on this and what you actually saw. But what was really strange about it was the fact that this was a routine flight. Okay, this is a routine flight that they did all the time, back and forth from Germany to Lakehurst, New Jersey, all the time. And on this particular occasion, there just happened to be people with movie cameras and a radio news broadcaster for a routine flight. That'd be like, the flight that comes in from Orlando every day at 7:30 p.m. to a certain airport, and then just one day they decide to report on the landing of this aircraft and wherever, and oh my shit and God, it fucking blew up. What do you know? I mean, it's like the thing with Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, right? CNN had never, ever live streamed or broadcast anything about a fucking Trump rally ever, except that time.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Except that one time. It's like, come on, man.
And dude, there's a guy on YouTube, but he likes to go into a lot of the Tartarian stuff, and he was showing that all the images we see were all blurred out. They always blur out the skies.
Vanilla skies, yeah.
Because it was filled with airships, like hundreds of them.
Well, I mean, Germany, even in the early part of the 20th century, by the 1930s, they had a burgeoning airline industry built on Zeppelins. And then the United States, the chief provider of helium in the world, had an embargo on Germany.
Yeah.
Because you remember that thing about Jews declare war on Germany, economic sanctions and shit. So the United States, even though we weren't at war with Germany, and he was just Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1933. And so by this point in time, what was it, 1936? And so this was, I don't know if they had invaded Poland yet or not by this. I don't think they had. But tensions were running high. We embargoed them, so they couldn't get helium. So they had to refurbish their ships so that they could be safe enough to use hydrogen. And these things were double, triple precautionary measures taken into account. No open flames whatsoever anywhere on there. Even people that smoked, you go to the smoking lounge, and there were no cigarette lighters. They had like what you have in a car in the thing, and it come out. It was all electric fire. So they had like double and triple precautions for that. It's speculated that it was most likely sabotage and a planned event, and that's why there were camera crews there and everything. And it was enough to scare people away from him. Of course, he had the war break out next, so it wouldn't be safe anyway, right?
Oh yeah.
The possibilities that go along with those airships that they airbrush out, and just like they airbrushed out with using vanilla skies in the old photographs, we know that today, right now, to make it seem like it was normal and has always been there, Disney spent, I don't know how many billions of dollars in there in the process of going back into old films and putting chemtrails in the fucking sky so that it looks like it's always been there.
Get out of here.
No,
radioactive, yeah.
So yeah, they're constantly manipulating your perception over periods of time like that, you know.
Since you guys were talking about old world stuff, I was listening, and because I was putting my books away. Chi-Town Cubby Bear, you're gonna like this, man. I got the World's Columbian Expedition of 1893, the book.
That's
right?
cool.
This thing, you should see the buildings in this bitch. Buildings and statues that they took out. I don't know if you're familiar with this. It's called the County Building Court. For all you guys that live in Illinois, I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah.
That's one. So this whole book is like a gigantic picture book. And what's crazy is I only spent $40 on it. Not bad, but this is right here.
Oh wow, yeah, that's that statue that's out in the bay, in like that little bay area.
Yeah.
It's like the Colossus of Chicago, right?
right? And it's not Dick Butkus. That's pretty wild. But here is, I guess they call this one the Masonic Temple in Chicago. I don't know if this is still there.
It probably
it is.
Probably got burned in a fire.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Rebuilt up 5 times.
So this, hold on. You've got this lion. You've got that. You've got, oh, this is the Women's Temple in Chicago. I don't know if they mean Women's Temple like the Eastern Stars.
Probably.
Yeah, but that's it in Chicago. And all this is on the World's Fairs. Now, I just came from the World's Fair last year in freaking Osaka. Here's another one. This is a really good one. I don't know if this is still around in Chicago.
Oh, wow, that's something else.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed is that yeah, they do actually set a lot of these they set a lot of these things up. Like I think in London in 1851 they said they made the Crystal Palace or something like that, but then it turns out that Crystal Palace had been there for years. So like they actually, like when I went out there, they made everything. It was like this gigantic, like a amphitheater made of wood when I was out in Osaka. But I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. But I mean, back then the whole place looked like it was like old school Europe. You know what I'm saying? And like Chicago, the way Chicago was arranged back in 1893, it doesn't look, it looks like you're going into old world Europe. Here's this one right here. It's called the Electrical Building, and my God, it looks so.
Yeah. And you should check out some of the Onion Dome buildings.
And then you could see this little. This is weird too. This is like the typical depiction of what's his name?
That's
stepping all over the
Columbia.
dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
That's
this
Columbia.
is the Columbia Fair of 1893 out in Chicago.
Well, didn't the Crystal Palace burn down, guys?
Yeah, glass and steel is very flammable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was going to real quick around unfolding, this is in Indonesia. This is during an earthquake. The ground is liquefied. And you'd think that was from a flood. So I don't know if you've ever worked with concrete or not, but you can have concrete in a wheelbarrow and you're working with it, or mortar, and you got it in the wheelbarrow and you're working with it and it starts to get dry. You can take this big thing that vibrates it and you put it down on there and it goes like that. And all of a sudden it shit juices right back out, man.
Damn.
All of a sudden it just juices right back out.
Never seen that in my life. You want to know? So in I think it was in there was the Great Flood of Pennsylvania. It was I think it might have been the 1850s. It had a particular name. But that happened, and a lot of crazy stuff happened in the 1800s. So much so that it has me thinking, you know how, when we were coming up as kids, they used to make us do time capsules. Remember how when you were a kid, you did a time capsule? So this is something, I don't even know if kids do it anymore. I don't even know if adults do it these days, but it was something when I was a kid. This is what my theory is. I feel that these things went down so much back in the day that it ruined the history. And so in order to keep some when it was going on, basically they're like, look, make a time capsule. And so people just throughout time, right? However far apart a person is or whatever, you can make yourself a time capsule. You bury it, right? God forbid something bad happens. Well, you're dead, but whoever the next civilization is, if they need to dig something up, they can dig it up and say, hey, at or about this time, something might have gone down. So say this previous civilization, something happened like, I don't know, 20 years ago. but we didn't know. But we dug down, and then we could say, hey, apparently, or we did know rather, something took place in and around this time. So it took place 1900 or something. We had this big earthquake, probably like 15 feet worth of mud covered the place, and I guess layer by layer, each time capsule covers that.
I get you. Yeah. I had
Yeah.
came across that. I thought about that. If we had giant trees and they were fell, the root systems eventually would give way, and then we would have like a liquefaction effect across the realm. It would actually cause a lot of earth shift if there were these root systems that held our lands together. If the giant trees and the root systems that were here originally died off, it would loosen the land up, and it would cause a lot of these problems, wouldn't it? Think about it.
Talking about like the redwoods or something.
Yeah, like the giant sequoias, the redwoods, the giant cedars in the Middle East, and they killed these trees off, and these root systems were holding the lands together very much. And then now that we're building heavy, taking the stones out of the quarries that these things are ancestored with,
same as like when you denude a hillside or a mountain, you subject it to erosion, faster erosion. Yeah.
Did you see that link that LJ pinned there, stuff?
No.
LJ69 put one in.
It's in the regular chat there. I don't know.
Hang on.
Well, not only that,
Oh,
when you
and
look
I was going to show that what we're a trailer to what we're going to watch tomorrow night.
Oh, sorry.
But tomorrow at 6:00, I'm going to be on Revolution Radio on the Crypt Rick show from 6 to 8, and then my show will be on at its normal time tomorrow evening. Hang on, I'm looking for what LJ sent. I don't see it.
Wasn't too far up.
The dams, dude. Like the dams were built back in the early century too.
That's why.
How do you build a dam in that time period?
Snowman,
and you guys should look at some of the old maps. Like they had California as an island.
Yes. And you know what California is named?
Queen Califia.
Yeah, which sounds very much like Khaleesi. Doesn't
like the Dragon Lady.
Yeah, and she supposedly was a queen of a slave army. She had griffins.
Yeah, she rode around on griffins
that would destroy her enemies. And I like equate some of that shit to like, the ice wall in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And how the wildlings were in the north. We're the wildlings, man. I think we're the wildlings.
Yeah, there's I can't remember what book it was, but it had all these different species of man. They had the Blemmies. There was a dog-headed race.
The Cynocephali. It's
the
the
Cephali. Yeah,
it's the it's like the travels of. It was like a book written in like the 1300s or something. I think it was called like the Travels of George or John something. And he goes around all these different lands, and he's talking about like those Blemmies and those giants and them dog-headed people.
Yeah, a lot of them was in Tartaria, Grand Tartary.
Yeah, but those dog-headed folks apparently ruled much of India. Now there's a saint. I'm sure you guys know about him. Saint Christopher. He's depicted as a dog-headed person, but it's only if you're Russian Orthodox or Greek Orthodox, you might adhere to a dog-headed Saint Christopher, but like a Roman Catholic, that's westernized. Yeah, westernized. He's got like the head of a person, but he's just really big.
But here's the thing about Christopher, okay, and this is going to tie into some interesting shit for you too. Christopher was the name that was given to him once he was sainted,
right?
Okay, and that means the one who bears Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That's his name. That's what it means.
Mm-hmm.
His name was I believe it was Orpheus. I believe that was what his name is, or something very close to that. But anyways, he was a giant.
Yeah,
he was a giant. Mm-hmm. And as the story goes, is that he was in service of the king. He volunteered for service to the king because he wanted to be in service to the most powerful man around.
Mm-hmm.
And one night a bard was singing a song, and the bard said something about the devil, and And the king got this look on his face, kind of scared, and he made the sign of the cross. And Orpheus asked him, said, "Why do you make the sign of the cross?" And he says, "Because," he says, "I fear the devil." And he says, "Well, then that means that you're not the most powerful. The devil must be more powerful than you." So he went off to be in service of the devil. And he was riding along with the devil and his minions one day, and they came across a cross on the side of the road. And the devil stopped, and he showed some fear. And Orpheus said, "Why do you stop? Why do you fear?" He says, "Because that's the Christ, and I fear the Christ." And he says, "Well, that means the Christ is more powerful than you, and I want to serve the Christ." So he went off in search of the Christ. And after searching for a while, he came to the house of a hermit who lived near a river, and he opened up the door, and the old man said, he told him he was looking for the Christ. And he says, "Well, here's what you do." He says, "Go down here to the river." He says, "And there's people that need crossing that river. And with your great stature, you can carry people across the river." And he says, "And then I'll find Christ?" He says, "Yes, you will eventually find Christ." And so he did this day in and day out until one night, in the middle of the night, there was a small child came to his door and wanted to go across the river. So he picked up the child and he started to go across. He started going across, and boy, I'll tell you, the current got way faster and stronger, and he could barely hold him. And he took him across, and he finally set him down. And he said, "Child, why are you so heavy?" And he said, "Because I carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, and you carried that with you." Now, this has been turned into an allegory. Well, it is kind of an allegory to the relationship of gold, mercury, and a current. Because when the gold and the mercury, which is represented by Orpheus, in fact, he's given a crimson, what is that color called? It's a type of red. Anyway, it was the paint. Well, kind of the paint they used was made from cinnabar.
Vermilion?
And vermilion, yes, thank you. Vermilion. And that's what they use to always depict his sash around his waist. That's and also the rest of him is gray. So that represents the mercury. Jesus, of course, represents the sun, the gold.
Gold.
And the relationship between the two, when they were exposed to the current, what happened? It got much, much stronger. It was increased.
Oh, wow.
Phenomenally. Yeah.
I never took it as that. Huh.
So it's kind of a little allegory within alchemy.
You think that Mercury has a more conductive property to it, so the sun would actually activate the
gold. It's the gold primarily. It's the just the proximity of gold to mercury.
It's a reaction.
Really? Which is funny because if you're going to extract, I think if I'm not mistaken, if you're going to be extracting gold from any kind of mineral, you're going to pour a lot of mercury from it. Well, this is what I've read. I mean, I've never done
Quicksilver,
it.
basically what they develop for it. Quicksilver is how they extract the ores out of it.
Right.
I got some mercury around here. Where is that?
I think they touch phosphorus and sodium together in like a pretty pure form. They just start melting together like a candle, making a third product, right? Like it's pure crazy shit you can do with refined materials. But how would you find back in the day pure potassium?
Don't eat the mercury.
Yeah. I just think there's not enough tools left over from this pre-industrial reset and shit. Like, like where's the saws that were cutting these 20,000 pound beams and shit, right? Like,
who made that brass door? Who made that 30-foot brass door out of what? Where?
Those tools are in a big warehouse where they keep the Ark. It's being studied by top men.
I get you.
Some big fucking cataloged warehouse someplace that nobody's allowed to go into, probably. But I'll tell you, man, I saw some big sawmill blades in Northern California, for cutting those huge redwoods. Once you get, man, dude, these things are as tall as a 2-story house, man. These blades.
Wow.
Amazing.
I never
man.
would have thought that those things were real, even though I see the pictures, like the old pictures of them cutting down those giant trees.
Yeah.
Like I look at it and I'm like, that's got to be AI. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
You get up there in those redwood
Different
forests,
times,
man, and it dwarfs you. You feel like a little insect, man. It's pretty crazy. The ones where you can drive through them.
Right. You know what's, man, I just came from Oregon and I went to the grottos, right? And I thought the trees around where I lived over in Castleton, I thought those trees were big. Over in the grottos, these trees are tall, and this is of course, in Portland, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is nothing compared to the redwoods. This can't be anything. And those trees in the grottos, I'm telling you, they were huge.
Yeah, ancient
Yeah.
too. That's the thing.
And they're not. And what's crazy is they're not even as old as the trees that we keep hearing about. They're not even as old and as big as those.
You see what I was
No.
saying about the liquefaction and the tree roots? That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If there were trees that large, it would be holding a lot of land together.
And where they get a lot of earthquakes, right out that way.
Yeah.
Everything's for a purpose, man. Everything.
So then my question is this: if we have those things like Devil's Tower and stuff like that, and supposedly Devil's Tower is supposed to be or potentially be a tree stump, that must mean there are roots underneath it, correct? And those plateaus that appear the same way.
Veins.
There must be.
There's veins of crystals, man. They spread out like roots that I think are the actual crystallized remains of the roots. Absolutely.
So I got a question. I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
If a tree, because I'm maybe, but if a tree gets cut and it can't pull water from the soil anymore, like what happens to the soil around it?
You know, that's interesting because there's a lot of trees where they cut them down and there's a fountain actually comes up out of them.
A fountain?
Yeah, man. And some of these big plateaus like that look like those tree remains usually have some kind of water body in the middle of it too.
Look at Arizona, for instance. If you want to go look at the rock structures that are there, man, they're pretty amazing. They have some down in the valleys down in there that they have to be some kind of ancient tree of some sort.
Well, down there in Monument Valleys where they got those rocks that are cut like perfectly squared off, and they're trying to say that's natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
You can see where they've been quarried, man. They're huge.
I've been through the whole Grand Canyon of the north side, and that whole thing's quarried out. That most of that canyon didn't come from erosion. I can tell you that right now.
No, it absolutely looks.
Full marks on it. I've looked at the caverns and all their little. I come to this little exhibit and look at our pottery, like Cubby was saying. They found pottery in the canyon. Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's tons of it laying all over the place, but you can only go there. You can't go anywhere else.
I got a quick.
What do you think about the Grand Canyon and the fact that apparently they found all of this Egyptian stuff over there?
Oh, they have. Yeah, they have.
What's that guy's name? Kincaid. Back in the early 1900s, he was going. They wanted to survey the. Now there's some weird shit went around that because Warren G. Harding, he died. He went out there to check it out and he died. Yeah, because they were surveying the Grand Canyon, surveying parts of it, and after that, those places were like closed off to the public. Nobody's allowed to go there.
Yeah, I was going to ask Vlad a question. How's the app coming along?
Oh man, it's moving now. We got enough to where they're in phase 2. It's moving, and I've got some good stuff, man. For all you guys that want some good stuff, email me your address. I really want to send this. It's some really good shit. It's some.
What
really
is it?
good. Oh, it's my app. It's our app. It's the Hours
Okay.
app, and it's the Old World Ruins and Structures. And
Oh, neat.
basically, yep. So you've heard of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know what you're getting at. Yeah, that would be great. It's going to be, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be killer, man. I'm excited. So it's funny you asked about it because they just started work today, and it's right on time because of what I've been doing, and the reason I haven't been coming on and making a show as of late is because I've been busting my tail putting some really good stuff together. So if you guys want to check this app out or check out what I have getting ready for the app, email me. I will send you some amazing stuff just to get a quick glimpse of what this app is going to bring. It's some hotness, man.
You ever been skydiving, Vlad?
No, I've never. No. So that's not something I want to do. How about you?
Yeah, I have.
You like it?
Not at first, but after I'm out of the plane, I'm pretty cool. But
yeah.
After seeing this, though, watch this shit. After seeing this, I don't think I would want to do this, man. Let me see if I got that.
Can I ask a super quick question?
Yeah.
Do you guys have your firewall on?
I don't know. I think I do.
I have mine. Yeah, I can tell you that.
You do? Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, see if this gets you hyped up to go.
First parachuter stepped out of the door to assume the most forward front float position. Their reserve parachute inadvertently deployed, dragging the parachutist backwards and dislodging the camera operator into freefall. The parachutist's legs were injured as they struck and damaged the aircraft's horizontal stabilizer. Their canopy wrapped around the horizontal stabilizer and the elevator, suspending them beneath the aircraft.
Oh my God.
13 skydivers exited the aircraft and 2 remained in the doorway, watching as the parachutist used a hook knife to cut sufficient reserve parachute lines to enable the parachute to tear free.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No.
The parachutists then deployed their main parachute, which tangled with the remnants of the reserve canopy. However, they were able to untangle the lines and regain sufficient control of the main parachute to land without further incident. Despite control difficulties due to substantial damage to the horizontal stabilizer and part of the reserve canopy wrapped around the tail, the pilot safely landed the aircraft back at Tully Airport. First parachutist.
No, flat out no.
Yeah, nah. Nope.
There's no communication, right? It's not
I don't know why he's standing out there like that anyways, man.
My friend I just went down to Missouri with just jumped out of a plane like a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Fuzzy Booger was 82nd.
That's another thing I forget the Charlie Kirk shooter trial, whatever thing. They're going to allow cameras in the courtroom. So this is going to be a big media circus. Just watch.
Go figures. Hey, what do you think about the Valhalla stuff? Like, what's up with that?
I think
listen, okay, so I don't know if you watch the show much, but here's the sitch. I don't think Charlie Kirk was shot at all. I think that was just Butler, Pennsylvania 2.0. Okay, they just did a better job of it, I think.
I tend to agree with you.
We don't have any funeral. We got no burial. We got no death certificate. We got no autopsy. We got a magic fucking steel neck that stops 30-06 bullets and shit. Makes them.
Do you think they're getting sloppy, or are we getting wiser to it?
I think they're purposely making it look as dumb as they can so that even the slow kids can catch up. They want us to see that this is bullshit. They want that. They want us to see the FBI as bumbling idiots. Kash Patel is inadequate for his position. They want us to see this crap because you couldn't accidentally fuck up this much. You couldn't. Even if you were just a blunder and everything you did was a fuck up, you couldn't put this much obvious breadcrumbs and shit out there for anybody. This is like a Hardy Boys geared down to kindergarten level, the way they're making this shit out. But the one thing that everybody's on the same page with, though, is that Charlie Kirk was actually shot. So everybody's out there looking for phantom gunmen. Yep. And there is no gunman. Nobody got fucking shot.
Exactly. I think people seem to forget the whole they were the part that trips me out is they were like there was no blood. I'm like, usually, like, I know people that get cut shaving and there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
So for somebody to get their neck blown off, it's like there was no blood. That doesn't make no sense.
The guys that were down on their knees in the grass next to Charlie Kirk wearing khaki pants and shit, putting their hands on his freshly wounded body, a neck injury, which included the jugular vein.
Yeah.
Okay. And they don't have any blood on their shirts, on their hands, on their knees, on their pants. Nowhere does any of them have any blood. There's no blood trail going from carrying. I mean, you go get a deer out of the woods after you shoot it, you're going to have a fucking blood trail carrying that thing.
Yeah, no, you're screwed, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
a 30
I've seen abdomen gunshots, however, that like they don't bleed initially, but they obviously bleed, but they're like, I don't know, fucking
Well, we're talking
cauterized
about a 30-06 Snowman.
Yeah, I know,
30-06
dude.
a human
Oh, I know.
will
It would have
decapitate.
taken his whole neck off. That's what I
Yeah.
said. I was like, a 30-06, his
It was
head
a tungsten
all over his
round.
body.
Probably would have taken his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there would have been massive splatter on
Yeah.
the backdrop for sure. Like, dude, come on, dude.
Should have been
Seriously.
a tracer round. Would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he had a steel neck, so stop the bullet. You know that already. So just get ahead.
Seth, can you just give Erica
Yeah,
one thing?
yeah, so they
Can you
say.
just give Erica
Yeah,
one
I
thing?
know, right?
Stop.
You know, here's another thing now. So Nick Fuentes is citing some bullet manufacturer or something, some
Yeah.
French guy. And this French guy is saying that could happen because the skin has like an elastic effect. So this guy's thing is that it hit the guy's skin on his neck on the other side, and it stretched it like a rubber band and bounced it back and turned it 90 degrees and shattered all his vertebrae going all the way down.
Yeah, right. Dude.
All right.
What's that? What's
All right,
that toy from the
when I hear
90s?
people lie like that, I just sit back and I just wonder. I'm like, who's paying you to say some bullshit like that?
Right.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Same, the same for all of them.
Yeah.
Well, think about
Why
this: the
would you
Trump
say
shooting was
something
the
like
worst. Yeah. Well, look back at the Trump shooting, Chip. Like, look how bad that was.
Oh.
Nobody checked that rooftop 150 yards away for a gunman. We can't put people on rooftops because it's slanted. You know.
Oh.
And the perfect photo op.
Oh, yeah.
Where was that?
And then he gets a whole brand new ear like a week later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sure like
Yeah,
that.
well, you know, Trump has the best. He has the best medical care, so you know maybe he did. You know,
The
you know,
best
He got it fixed up.
I guess.
He's good to go, bro. He's good to go. He didn't get fucking Mike Tyson, bro. He's good. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah. This is pretty good.
Always the good guy.
Chloe and Michael, good morning. We're here outside Utah Valley University, where they literally paved over the scene the following Sunday. If this were a normal crime scene, these people would have been prosecuted for tampering with evidence. Good thing most people are triple boosted.
We want to make sure there's literally no evidence left over, guys.
Isn't this illegal? Yeah, apparently doing construction on the Sabbath day in Utah is actually totally normal.
Right, and let's not forget that Charlie had a Superman-like neck. Let's get a demonstration.
I don't think this is going to help to stop the conspiracy theories. His head fell off.
A 30-06 would have been a horror show.
Whoa there, Ching Chong. We're not supposed to question that.
Listen, pussy, the only people who still believe it are groypers and Zionists.
Do you believe the Jews killed Charlie Kirk? That's one of the conspiracies out there right now. What's your position on that?
I don't believe that. As it stands right now, I think it was Tyler Robinson.
Yeah.
So if this 30-06 had hit Charlie in the neck the way we're told, it still could have gone through a concrete wall behind him and hit someone on the other side of the concrete wall.
This is the guy that was martyred for fighting Israel? If you think that, I feel sorry for you because you are retarded.
Thanks, Nick. Finally, after all your antiseptic rhetoric, you've decided to join us on our mission to shut it down. Now, Tim Pool, give Candace a piece of your mind.
Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate cunt.
Tim Pool jumping on the airwaves with big estrogen energy telling us we're evil.
She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit.
Oh my gosh, he is so cranky today.
Yeah, that's what we call high estrogen.
Did that really happen?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh wow, I thought that was AI for a second. That really
No,
happened?
that really happened, man. He lost his shit.
Damn.
About her.
Let's hear what she actually said instead. Go for it, Candace.
There are people at Turning Point who Charlie texted the night before and said they're going to kill me.
Shut it down, Candace. He said go max to Tucker, and we pulled all our donor money. He was our best go-ium, and it was his fault for messing that up.
Wow. Just because a 30-06 can take down large game animals doesn't mean we won't use that as our narrative. It's not an easy task blaming a patsy. Wow. Erica, play the sympathy card.
Again, he would walk through the door, drop his bags, Daddy's home, take his phone Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer, and it was just all us.
Shabbat Shalom. What do you think of Erica?
Oh, great. You must watch Ian Carroll. Well, I watched Nick, and he told me Tyler was behind it and a 30-06 was stopped in the neck. So stop with the conspiracy theories.
Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do. When you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
This is going to be read as Meghan Markle syndrome, okay? Meghan Markle syndrome, where you want privacy when you want it, but you want publicity whenever you want it, and that just doesn't work, okay? This is the same person who had somebody record her over Charlie Kirk's casket. That was not...
Dude, that is so fake.
Look at that, dude. Yeah. That's rubber. That's rubber hands, dude. Rubber hands.
Anytime I look at that, I'm wondering who's above her taking that video. Like, why? Right. I don't get that.
Why?
And
why would you...
on her Instagram account, what widow videotapes or has somebody videotape a private moment like that? And then
nobody does that. Nobody does that ever. That's bullshit.
Our
That's
business. You have to make a decision. I want this always to be private, or I want this always to be public.
You're canceled. TPUSA is a Judeo-Christian, Jew-loving company. Pastors, shut her up and remind her why we're the chosen people.
We cancel stuff all the damn time. Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them.
Candace Owens doesn't know what she's talking about here.
So what we did is we entered into the scriptures and grew to love the nation of Israel and Jewish people.
We are going to train.
Did you see that beast?
That lady
right there. That's Netanyahu's wife. That's Netanyahu's wife.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
What is that? What is that?
It's a wife of a prime minister of Israel. That's
my bad.
Just
gotcha.
I don't know, but she might have Kermit the Frog stuffed up her dress. Who knows?
She looks like that old representative out of Florida, Grayson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks just like him.
Well, at least she don't look like Pelosi. That's the worst.
Of Israel and Jewish people.
We are going to train 100,000 Christian ambassadors to be ambassadors in their own country for the state of Israel, to defend Israel's brand and to combat anti-Semitism.
Defend their brand.
What's their brand? What brand?
I guess genocide. I don't know, man. But I mean, think about that. And if you're losing, if you got to make 100,000 fucking pastors go out and try to brainwash their congregations, then you got problems, brother.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah.
It's too late. It's too late at that point.
It's too late. Yeah. It's too late. Yeah.
Yeah. It's already on fire. There's no putting it out.
Finally, my boy Satan will teach you Goyim to worship us instead of Jesus.
Thanks, Daisy. I just joined your Only Freaks, by the way.
All hail Israel, right, Ching Chong?
Okay, Succubus, remind me, what religion dominates the corn industry and takes Christ out of the Christmas music? You're not even actual Semites.
All right, Ching Chong, you're this close to ending up like Charlie Kirk the Jew lover. It's literally like a mind virus you sick Goyim have adopted. Hope you took our mRNA so you die early. It says it's not like COVID-19. It's like Candace 19. It's another fake. They're it's a fake virus. Like, oh, you got infected. You just can't do it. 6 feet social distancing from Candace Owens. We're gonna get every influencer on social media. 6 feet social distancing. Save lives. What are you, a grandma killer?
Misinformation spreads quietly, sometimes from people you know or love. Do your part. Help keep our community safe and get vaccinated for Candace 19.
Brought to you by the dual citizens of Israel.
No wonder they get kicked out of every country.
Wow, great point, Ching Chong.
Didn't they label Miss Rachel an anti-Semite for saying she doesn't want children not to starve?
Yep. Meanwhile, they're bombing the actual Semites.
Poor sand people. Let's see what she did.
Let's go back to sleep, Rahaf. We're so tired.
This disgusting human decided to show an amputee from Gaza, which exposes that we have been carpet bombing the innocent, and that's so antiseptic. Because it's like, how are we supposed to finish the sand people with her being all empathic and stuff? Oy vey. John, back to you, and don't mention TPUSA's finances.
Thanks, Shapiro-Stein. Right, so basically they set up a life insurance-style fund for him under GGLF in 2023, where the only payout happens upon his death. Like a $30 million payout. That's a big payout for whoever helped set that up.
Candace, explain to the fellow Goyim how much they just made at their recent black tie event that cost $10,000 per plate. What do you think of Erica's black tie event?
Buddy, I work 12 hours a day. I have no idea what's going on at all. They're all secret society weirdos. That's all I know.
Doesn't go, hey, maybe we should strike that. They made $40 million like 2 nights ago at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe that feels kind of a little bit like let them eat cake-ish.
Let them eat cake.
Oh, and we've made more than, separately from Mar-a-Lago, Turning Point USA, since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know, this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night.
Good point, Candace. They want to act like we're the grifters for an honest investigation.
Right? You may be a widow, but you're also the CEO of a $150 million company.
Straight up. Back to you, Erica.
They pick on you because of your accessories. I mean, I've seen some of it.
Oh, yeah. No, at this point, it's what? The conspiracy collection. Get it before Christmas. Like, seriously.
Elegance is eternal, but beauty fades. Get your conspiracy collection before Christmas. Like, seriously.
I'm done. And if people think that I was just going to wilt away, I'm not going to sit in a corner and cry and be in fetal position. This is a duty to my husband, and it's an absolute honor, and I will never back down. And so my message to them is to stop. To stop.
Hey, quick question. What do you think of Erica?
I had to take a leave of absence from work after my poodle died, and she becomes CEO. Like, where the heck are your kids? It just feels off.
Yo, man, quick question. What do you think of Erica?
Dude, if my wife acted like that after I passed, I'd be turning in my grave.
Shut it down! Just because we made a record amount after his death doesn't mean you can make content out of us. Run the commercials! You're about to get the Jackie treatment.
Get your seed oils and cattle feed, because that's what you are.
Goyslop Jr. Enjoy cancer.
Gosh, I love some cheesy Goyslop before bed.
Yeah, you know they're trying to make us weak, right?
That's okay. I took all the vaccines.
Yeah, I can tell. Dennis, take it away.
That's absolutely based. And if you still haven't followed Jake GTV, you're low IQ and genuinely retarded.
Oh, nice. So they profited off his death, and now the widow's on a mission from God to make more money. And that's
Oh,
beautiful.
we're gonna do some. She wants everything to be private and to protect her kids from everything, but she's gonna build this big fucking monument to him.
Government funded, probably.
Yep.
Oh, most likely. Listen, this is a big psyop bullshit. Everything.
I don't know how people can't lose their fucking minds already over this craziness.
I'll lose my lunch over it, man.
Yeah, because now we have when's it? What the 19th? So I think Friday is the 19th, right?
Yeah, I believe
We
so.
still have that nonsense with the freaking the thing in the sky.
Yeah,
Just bullshit on top of bullshit, man. I don't know. I don't know how people can't lose their fucking mind already.
Well, listen to this real quick. Here's Trump on 5G. Listen to this.
So we're into 6G now. I just finished 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6. Let's do it again. What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See how perfect it is? I like the cameras the old days. So they just had a nice feature. Now they cover every little. Let's see, Michael, you're in good shape. You're not gonna, but I tell you, it's the 6 is coming, huh? It's coming. So we're into 6G now.
So he thinks that 5G and 6G are referring to fucking camera resolution. He has no idea.
Nope.
Yeah.
This is what everybody pinned their hope on. That's what everybody pinned their hope on right there. And
They
it
do it
was,
to all of
was
them.
better than Kamala, right?
Yeah.
Weren't you saying earlier you think that they give them something different when they get into the office? They're doping them up.
Yeah.
Give them some kind of retardation.
Yeah. It's
But
like
here's
he
the
just
thing.
went crazy.
I'm just going to cover part of it, but something a TP USA insider says that Erica Kirk converted to Judaism, tasked with destroying American Christianity.
Even better. Yeah.
Well, didn't she meet Charlie Kirk over on a trip to Israel or something like that?
Yep, she sure did.
Stands to reason, I guess, right?
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Then Erica Kirk met Erica Kirk met Charlie Kirk on a trip to Israel, I believe. I believe that's what the story is.
Oh, when they first met.
Yeah,
they met in Israel.
Okay.
They were still set up by Trump, actually. He's the one that set the whole thing up to begin with. I think he made him into a couple.
Yeah, he did actually. Yep. I heard the same thing, Roger. Yep.
Look at D-Man shows up right as I'm getting ready to shut things down, man.
Sorry, bad timing, man. Just walked in.
No, man, it's all right though.
Man, what's good,
I got
man?
Win some, you lose some.
I got another 10 minutes or so here. So yeah, it's I got to work in the morning, but tomorrow we're gonna do movie night. We'll start out over here on YouTube and on Rumble, and then after we do a few teasers about it and a little discussion, we're going to go over exclusively to Rumble and watch this movie called Odd Thomas. It's a film adaptation from a Dean Koontz novel, which he wrote a series about this guy. And this guy's got like clairvoyant powers, but he's kind of tries to keep them hidden because he doesn't want to stand out, you know.
I've seen some things, man.
He can he gets these premonitions of shit, and it's pretty good. I've got the trailer up so you can kind of see what we're in store for tomorrow.
Almost sounds like the Dead Zone.
Kinda. But you remember how I've said how demons want to infest around bad shit? You know?
Yeah.
This kind of touches on that. This is pretty good.
Ladies, my name is Odd Thomas. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not the child of a celebrity. I've never been married to, abused by, or provided a kidney to a celebrity. But I do lead an unusual life. Knock, knock.
Loop me in, odd one.
This place looks like some kind of shrine.
Did you check the refrigerator for any severed heads?
That is Stormy Llewellyn. Stormy and I are destined to be together forever.
That must be for you.
I found a gateway to hell.
Get out of there, Audie.
I'm communing with the dead. It's not about who's dead, sir. It's about
Hey.
You have a secret. You're either clairvoyant, a psychic, or you got yourself some juice with a higher power.
I'm here looking for a guy. Creepy guy.
Any of those Bodax things around?
Bodax. When they do show up, it's a sure sign that carnage and bloodshed are not far behind. If they find out you can see them, they will kill you.
I'm just so scared for you, Audie. A lot of people died in that dream of yours, huh, Odd?
Yeah, they did.
Your dreams ever come true?
This town is in serious trouble.
I want an APB put out on this guy now!
August 15th. Trust me, that is the day that Pico Mundo will never forget.
That's funny. August 15th was my ex-wife and I's wedding anniversary.
Wait, ex-wife anniversary? Is that what you said?
Yeah, with my ex-wife. Yeah, that's August 15th. What a day. Convenient.
Wow. I'm surprised you remember that. Well, I suppose you would, yeah.
Yeah, like yeah.
It's not a day you want to remember, right?
No, but yeah, you remember, you don't forget,
No, you are. Yeah, you're right. You will remember it. Yeah.
That guy that plays in that movie, Anton Yelchin, he was in the Star Trek movie. He played
Yes, Chekhov.
Mr. Chekhov.
Yes, he did.
Chekhov. Yep.
And
That's him?
yeah, he's dead. You know
He
that,
is
right?
dead. I was gonna say Saab, man. I thought he died.
Yeah, he got run over by his own car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this before or after you did the movie?
How do you get run over by your own car?
He was
Well,
on
wait a
that show.
second. Did you really just ask that, Snowman? Was that before or after that you made this movie?
Yeah, I did. But no, I meant before or after Star Trek. Like, because it would have been his last project then, right? Or
Well, they made a
This movie I think came out after Star Trek. But yeah, he was also coincidentally involved with some of the shit that Anne Hesh was doing and Chris Cornell.
Chris Cornell. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Cornell, him and Chester Bennington and
From Lincoln Park. Yeah.
And there was another guy. They were all set to put out a documentary on
trafficking or some shit.
Yeah, especially as it pertains to like the music industry and Hollywood,
Yeah. And Anne
Yeah.
Heche is funny because she was
Oh,
killed
shit.
in a automobile incident, but apparently after the crash, she somehow they said she sat up, and then
I got that. I think I got the video of that. Hold on.
She rose
Dude,
from the dead.
Paul Walker died in the same fucking manner, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Paul Walker was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, that guy that you mentioned, his name, he's a Russian, and he played Chekhov. He was also in that show called Taken. If anybody's ever seen it with
I've seen.
people
Yeah,
that-
yep.
it was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
He was in that. That's him too.
Does anybody die under normal circumstances anymore? Or ever?
Us normies, I guess that's it, man.
So check this out. This is the thing from it.
Breaking news at 6. Actress Anne Heche seriously injured after crashing her car. Skyfox overhead when she suddenly sits up on the gurney, surprising firefighters.
It happened in Mar Vista. That's where Fox 11's Coco McAvoy is live with those breaking details. Coco.
Good afternoon. This was a very serious and fiery crash here in Mar Vista. We know actress Anne Heche is severely burned. She has critical injuries from this. Take a look at the aftermath here. You can see all of the charred items in the driveway here and on the sidewalk. And then as we pan over, you can also see that there is caution tape surrounding this entire home after it was seriously damaged in this crash as well. Let's show you some new surveillance video that we just got into our newsroom. You can see the moments before the crash. You will see a blue Mini Cooper fly by on the street here, leading up into this house. You can see that actress Anne Heche was going at a high rate of speed, at least according to the video here. This is Ring camera footage. And now take a look at this other video that we're going to show you this afternoon. You can see the fiery aftermath from this crash, following this bad crash. It all happened on South Walgrove Avenue just before 11 o'clock this morning. The car, that Mini Cooper, barreled through the house, causing a massive fire. Firefighters knocked down the flames and pulled the charred car out of the home. The driver's license plates come back to actress Anne Heche. Skyfox video shows Heche pop up disoriented while she's wrapped in a white cloth following this crash. Neighbors in the area have been rushing to this scene all afternoon.
Look at her pushing that motherfucker away from her.
Take a listen to what this one witness has to say.
Yeah.
There was 3 fire engines
she's like,
here.
"You want to knock me out? I've done more drugs than that."
Go
The
with them.
result was the fire that was going on. The billows of fire were so like 200 feet high, so I know it had to be pretty severe inside.
And what we just learned a few minutes ago was that a neighbor in this area actually ran to the scene in his flip-flops. He got the homeowner out of her home safely along with her pets. We also learned that he tried to get actress Anne Heche out of her vehicle as well, but with all of the smoke and the flames, he felt like that would not be the best idea.
So you clearly see her come up off that.
Yeah,
Gurney.
she came up off the gurney, dude.
Yeah. You know what they're going to say? They're going to be like, well, you know, that's a response to, you know, you know how they say that's
a response to what? Fucking, they didn't hit her with the goddamn defibrillator, bro. Like
she wasn't burned.
But you know how they always reason some shit like that away, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, yeah.
I've seen it all the time. Blah blah blah.
Listen, they can hijack your car too. They can hijack your car remotely.
Damn right, yes, sir.
Well, that's why I don't have if you have a fucking Tesla, they can. Fuck Tesla.
Yeah.
They can do that.
No. Even the ones these days with all them computers, man, they can do all kinds of crazy shit with it.
Fuck, that's why I got a
Mini Cooper. She had a Mini Cooper.
That's right.
Shifted reality. I put Sav's Rumble link in the private chat, and then for everybody else in the regular chat, I just put it in there too.
Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yep.
So, guys, I'm gonna have to shut it down. I got to get off here so I can get up dark and early in the morning and go to work. Hopefully, oh man, today was terrible. But you know, when you take some stuff down and then you find that it's worse underneath.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it rained.
Surprise.
Yeah.
So bigger go home. Yeah.
Were they filming The Italian Job? Is that what she thought? She's driving through the house.
Yeah, right. The guy just bought a new 4K TV and she comes flying through it and shit. Whoa, that is fucking accurate. Man,
the sound is amazing.
These new Meta glasses really work.
I felt like I was really there.
It was like a movie. Yeah.
All right, guys.
When Beavis and Butthead put on the 3D glasses.
Yeah,
the virtual reality glasses.
3D glasses. Remember that? The creature feature.
The creature feature. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have a good time with
thanks
that
for having
tomorrow.
us, man. I
Right on.
appreciate you being on tonight.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you, D,
Good
man.
to see everybody showed up in
Chi-town,
here tonight.
Snowman.
Don't do anything Charlie Kirk wouldn't do.
Don't do nothing Charlie Kirk wouldn't do. Yeah.
He's sipping a Mai Tai with Epstein someplace right now.
Yeah. Oh, he is. He definitely is.
Tel Aviv.
Valhalla. Come on.
He's in Tel Aviv by now. Anyway.
Oh, my
All right,
dude.
guys. Don't
He's in
forget
fucking
tomorrow night.
Haiti.
Tomorrow night we're going to be doing Odd Thomas. So you can join us over here, but we're not going to be staying here on YouTube for very long. And we're going to wait till enough people get notifications that we're on. We're going to bullshit and everything, and then we'll go on to the movie exclusively on Rumble, merely because YouTube's a real bitch about shit. So fuck them. And it'll be a good movie. It's got a nice little twist at the end of it too. So I hope you'll join us for that. So Vlad, Shifted Reality, Roger, Snowman, Chicago Cubby Bear, D-Man, et al. Thanks for coming up tonight. Everybody that showed up in the audience. We were well over 200 people watching tonight. That was pretty good. So yeah, hit that like button on your way out. If you want to support the channel, there's a link down in the description of the video, and my Cash App is running across the bottom of the screen, along with my Rumble links and my all the shit you need to know. So until we see you tomorrow night, don't forget, the Lord loves the working man. Don't never, ever, ever trust Whitey. See your doctor, get rid of him, because he'll probably kill you. And if you heard the shot, it probably wasn't meant for you. We'll see you next time on Sovereign Soul, Unchained Mind. Good night, everybody.